the football talk show that holds back nothing on opinions.
Straight shooting LJA.
Hi, I'm John Sitton.
Grassroots coach Manisha Taylor.
Hello, I'm Rob Perez.
The G-Man.
Samira Sawhney, Motivate Sports and Fitness.
Christian Carambeu.
Matt Hodgson, Director of the 4-year plan.
We the people, for the people. Jazzy Fizzle.
Your Monday night footballing fix.
Make sure you join the revolution.
The pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk. Each and every Monday night of your lives.
At youtube.com/pitch talk.
For podcast links and information, check out our official website www.pitch-talk.com.
Hello, I'm Rob Perez.
Grassroots coach Manisha Taylor.
Christian Carambeu.
Matt Hodgson, Director of the 4-year plan.
Dave McLaughlin.
I'm Rob Lusher.
Andy Copeland from the Glennet Southern Amateur League.
Philip Wick, I'm CEO of 14.
Former Chairman of Ibis FC.
Chairman of Alexandra Park FC.
And you're listening to
Pitch Talk, the only place to get your Monday night footballing fix.
Because the pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk. Make sure you join the revolution, the football revolution.
Hi, I'm John Sitton and I'm here with Gavin, Liam and Gerald on Pitch Talk.
The football talk show that pulls no punches and holds back nothing on opinions.
Hello, I'm Rob Perez. My name is Christian Carambeu.
I'm Grassroots coach Manisha Taylor.
Hi, I'm Matt Hodgson, Director of the 4-year plan, and you're listening to Pitch Talk, the only place to get your Monday night footballing fix.
Make sure you join the revolution.
The pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk.
I'm Andy Copeland from the Glennet Southern Amateur League.
Philip Wick, I'm CEO of 14.
I'm Rob Lusher, former Chairman of Ibis FC.
I'm Samira Sawhney, co-founder and co-director of Motivate Sports and Fitness.
And you're listening
to Pitch Talk.
Good evening, everybody. And we would like to say, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, straight shooting LJ, the G-Man and Jazzy Fizzle proudly bring to you the football talk show that pulls no punches and holds back nothing on opinions. Because the pitch is where we eat, the pitch is where we sleep, and the pitch is where we talk. You know what? At the moment, it is one of them ones, baby, where we are having a bit of, it's been a bit fraught in terms of technical issues today. So we are actually audio only via www.pitch-talk.com. That is where to find the link for this week's show. This show will be audio only, but of course we got the podcast as usual coming up very, very shortly. But you know what? It is one of them ones. Mixlr.com, mixlr.com/pitch-talk. That is where you can usually tune into the first hour of our show live. This week, we're going to have the whole show live. The whole effing show, if you will, to coin an ECW phrase right there. We will have the whole show, the whole effing show, on mixlr.com/pitch-talk and www.pitch-talk.com, which is our official website to get information on everything Pitch Talk. Also, facebook.com/pitch talk. Become a fan, become a friend, become a member of the group. Join the footballing revolution we are working so hard to create. myspace.com/pitch talk. pitchtalk.blogspot.com or .co.uk will get you to our blogs by yours truly, straight shooting LJA, the G-Man, Jazzy Fizzle, and many others as well. Well, lemons. YouTube.com/pitch talk is where you can find all of the videos, including the very first trailer from Pitch Talk meets Sahel Raymond, the first fully qualified wheelchair-bound football coach. It's one of them ones. That full interview release will be coming out soon, and the first trailer is up now. If you're into Football Manager, there's some interesting discussion there. Also, big shout out to Motivate Sports and Fitness as well, who had a very kind invitation to Pitch Talk, and also to Sahel himself as well. Remember, we will be having another few of those trailers leading up till the end of the year, and then we will have the release of the full interview with Sahel Raymond. So it was fantastic. But also, remember, you can also contact us. 07535804466 is the mobile number. We're also Pitch Talk 1 on Skype as well. Call us, text us, let us know your views on the mobile phone. Pitch Talk is on Twitter as well. Of course, at Pitch Talk on Twitter. At Pitch Talk on Twitter. It is one of them. Was tweet with us, follow us, see what we're up to. As said, there's Facebook, there's YouTube, there's Google Plus as well. We are Pitch Talk Live on Google Plus. We're also on Instagram as well, at Pitch Talk on Instagram. So, the fact of the matter is, it is time, baby, for the show to get a little seasoned up in here. Up in here, baby. Hold it up, it's about to get funky up in here. And I'm not talking about the smell either, as Dusty Rhodes has invaded the building, baby, to try and also host the show with the straight shooting one. But it is one of them as well. It is time for us to roll into the first segment of the show. But before that, big shout out to Girls on the Ball, at Girls on the Ball on Twitter, facebook.com/Girls on the Ball, and www.girlsontheball.com. Also, big shout out to Motivate Sports and Fitness, at Motivate SF on Twitter, and facebook.com/Motivate SF, and www.motivatesportsandfitness.com as well. Big shout out to Rebel Nature Studios as well up there in North London. Big shout out to the Section 357 show. Also a big shout out to Thin White Line Magazine, facebook.com/Thin White Line Magazine, at Tweet White Line on Twitter, and www.thinwhitelinemagazine.com as well. Many other people to shout out to, including my co-host, the G-Man, and also Jezzy Fizzle. I think the G-Man will be around in a bit, but Jezzy Fizzle is not able to make it with us this week. And a big shout out and a big -5 stars to Samsung and their Galaxy S3. That seems to be, that my phone seems to be just constantly resetting itself, which is very helpful and is tremendous at the same time. But you know what? I love the phone apart from that, but it helps. But it is time. It is time. Big shout out to Dave Mear, aka Mearcy, on Twitter, who blogs for us as well. Of course, a big shout out to Big T as well. And a big shout out to Big Brian Christopher Jeeves too. You know what? It is time for us to swing into the first segment of the show. And as the regulars will know, that first segment is results and analysis. Results and analysis. Yes, it is results and analysis. So, you know, a big shout out to Russell Vernon, who's usually with us on the shows. Might join us a little later via the text, but you know what? Results and analysis. We will kick off in just a little bit. I just need to get the composure going, baby. Just need to get that composure going before we get the show truly seasoned and we truly get it going. All right, it's getting wrong in the Skype chat already. Big shout out to Mike Harniman and Tom Wood, who are in the Skype chat at the momento. But oh my God, there's so much going on in the world of football. Yeah. Oh, it actually hurt my throat a touch. Yeah, I've been in the danger zone. South of London, was it? West of London, England. South of Mars, and north of hell. Yeah, west of London, England, south of Mars. I watched the Macho Man Randy Savage story. It was actually fantastic. Great watch. In terms of WWE documentaries. Look at these are all getting demanding in the Skype chat. No. We will do this in our own time. It's one of them ones. 5, 4, 3, 2, and in your own time. My own time, baby, because it is that time. You know what? Let us roll into this. Look at these lot trying it in the Skype chat. It's tremendous. If only you could see. If only you could see what I see. You'll be lucky if we get to that one. But let's start with the Champions League, and we will start with Tuesday, 25th of November 2014. CSKA Moscow 1, Roma 1. Francesco Totti scoring on the opening goal on 43 minutes, and Berezutsky scoring on 93 minutes. Man City 3, Bayern Munich 2. Benatia getting sent off from 20 minutes. Aguero scoring from the penalty spot on 21 minutes. Xabi Alonso scoring on 40 minutes, from Lewandowski scoring on 45. But Aguero scored in 85 minutes, and on 91 minutes Aguero scored again. Now one of the funny things about this, actually, Alonso scored, and it was his mistake that actually led, I think it was to Sergio Aguero's first goal, as it happens. But yeah, no, it was Alonso's mistake that led to the Benatia sending off, that led to Aguero's penalty, because Benatia was last man. But Alonso's free kick was actually quite funny. The walls always jump. Always do it. We always do it. As defenders, we always go, yep, we're jumping. But with the Man City wall jumped, but Alonso just went low and Joe Hart couldn't see it. It was actually quite funny the way it looked. But yeah, it was one of them ones. Man City, their destiny is still pretty much in their own hands. I mean, it's a case of it's win or bust. So it's one of them was. And you know what? Now, I will disagree with what's being said in the Skype chat about walls being a waste of time, because the wall can be a good help as long as it doesn't break, as long as it doesn't split. And the fact of the matter is, you've got to get your wall in the right place. So I would never say a wall. It's like saying a man on the post is a waste of time. A two-man wall can work as well, in my personal opinion. But Man City getting the win against Bayern Munich, it was quite funny, actually, because for about 60, 70 minutes, even with 10 men, Bayern Munich were controlling the game still. And it didn't look like City were going to score. And then the game just got turned on its head. It was crazy. But City is still in it with a shout. So all they got to go and do now is go to the Stadio Olimpico and beat Roma to go through. So I think they've got beaten by like 2 clear goals or something like that. So it's an interesting one. But I think the Skypers wanted to jump in on this. Let me know, Skypers, if you want to jump in on this one. And all right, Tom Wood, you wanted to jump in on City, Bayern Munich, and CSKA versus Roma.
Well, I didn't see the CSK game, but I saw the Man City game up when it was 2-1 to, I think it was Bayern, but then I missed the other 2 goals because I turned it over. But other than that, to be honest, I thought the red card was pretty harsh, to be honest, because it looked like he got the ball from the angle when he was running through, but then when I looked at it again, it was a straight red. But other than that, do you think he should have gone, or do you think he should have been booked instead?
Well, he's last man, so the letter of the law says he has to go. Legit goal scoring opportunity, and Aguero tends not to miss him. It's one of them ones. Legit goal scoring opportunity. Last man, you're always going to get red carded. 9 times out of 10, you're always going to get red carded. So I agree with what the referee did, personally. So it's one of them ones. You know, let's shift on because in Champions League Group F, Apoel Nicosia, as most pronounce it, Apoel Levkosia is the proper pronunciation. 0 Barcelona for Luis Suarez getting his first goal for Barcelona, and a lovely turn it was on 27 minutes. Lionel Messi scored on 38 minutes and scored on 58 minutes to become actually the Champions League's most prolific goal scorer, taking Raul's record. So he's finally actually got that record, lock, stock and barrel. But also, yeah, Messi scored on 38, 58 and 87 as well. There were actually 2 sendings off in this game. Alcantara do Nascimento got sent off, and also Amorim got sent off. Those were on 70 minutes and 84 minutes respectively. Paris Saint-Germain 3, Ajax 1, Edinson Cavani scoring on 33 minutes, Klaassen scoring on 67 minutes, Ibrahimovic scored on 78 minutes, and also Edinson Cavani scored again on 83 minutes. Now, shifting on to more Champions League action. Schalke 0, Chelsea 5. John Terry opened the scoring on 2 minutes. Willian scoring on 29 minutes. Kirchhoff unluckily scored the own goal on 44 minutes. Some would say unlucky, but there were 2 Schalke players going for the same ball. But Didier Drogba scored on 76 minutes. And Ramirez, aka JBK, aka Jaymie Bailey, aka Two Men, scoring on 78 minutes, rounded out the goal scoring for Chelsea. A match that most people really expected Chelsea to win anyway. I mean, there are a lot of Chelsea fans who say that Schalke's only real player is Klaas-Jan Huntelaar, forgetting about Julian Draxler, but it's one of them what some people will when they get complacent. But still, Chelsea easily through. Sporting 3, NK Maribor 1. Mane scoring on 10 minutes, Nani scoring on 35 minutes, Nascimento scoring an own goal on 42 minutes, and Slimani scoring on 65 minutes to make sure of the points for Sporting Lisbon. In Champions League Group H, the Barte boys got battered again. Barte Borisov 0, FC Porto 3. Herrera scoring on 56 minutes. Jackson Martinez scoring on 65 minutes. And Christian Teo scoring on 89 minutes. Shakhtar Donetsk 0, Athletic Bilbao 1. San Jose getting the only goal on 68 minutes. So it's a bit chilly in here. I have to shut that window. Shut that door. Ironically enough, Tom Wood has just actually asked us to mention a result, and that was actually the next result on our list. Concord Rangers 0, Mansfield 1. Palmer getting the only goal on 61 minutes. That was actually pretty good timing. Tom Wood, you wanted to jump in on this as well, didn't you?
Yeah, a couple of our mates went to this game with Southend supporters, and they said it was a really decent game. They said that Mansfield were really poor. They said that Concord should have won it, to be honest. But other than that, I know that Phil Brown was at the game. He was watching a couple of the players while he was there, but hopefully he'll go for some of their players because they've got a very good squad down at Concord, even though they used to be like a Sunday league team not that long ago. But now they're flying up the leagues, but hopefully they'll be in the Football League one day. Because they're doing so well under, seeing it as their manager's a PE teacher as well. He's one of my mates' PE teacher at school, so it's not too bad.
I hear that. I mean, it's one of them. It's always interesting to see a game that's kind of away from the football leagues. It's always.
But all I can say is bad luck to Steve. They showed us against Maidstone, so that's alright.
It's always bad luck to Stephen, isn't it? One of them was Mike's not going to be happy about that one, Mr. Harniman. Look at him. He's not happy. He's not happy about that. He's not. Mansfield
are a league, not Mansfield. Chester in conference, and where Maidstone, what division? They must be further down the conference ladder.
Well, somewhere. somewhere. But you know what? Let's shift on because we've got quite a few more results to go through. Let's roll into Wednesday, 26th of November, 2014. Atletico Madrid 4, Olympiacos 0. Big shout out actually to a friend of the show, Miss Irene Bonilla. Atletico Madrid 4, Olympiacos 0. Raul Garcia opening the scoring on 9 minutes. Milan Mandzukic scoring on 38. Mandzukic scored again on 62 and then on 65 minutes. Rounding out the scoring there. Malmo 0, Juventus 2. Fernando Llorente scoring on 49 minutes and Carlos Tevez scoring on 88 minutes. The only annoyance with Tevez scoring, he didn't do the celebration. That mad funky celebration that we took the mickey out of for a couple of weeks. But in Group B, FC Basel 0, Real Madrid 1. Cristiano Ronaldo scoring on 35 minutes, the only goal of the game, which ironically enough does one of the teams in the next match a favour, because Ludogorets Razgrad 2, Liverpool 2. Danny opened the scoring on 3 minutes with a mistake, it must be said, from Simon Mignolet, but ball gets threaded through. Colo Touré cuts it out by hand to ground. Didn't need to go to ground, but the Mignolet parries it down, and then it's like, oh my god, Danny scored. That was after 3 minutes. Ricky Lambert scored 5 minutes later after 8 minutes, pouncing on basically a bit of indecision from the Ludogorets defence. Jordan Henderson scored a lovely, slick worked goal involving Raheem Sterling on 37 minutes, but Terziev scored on 88 minutes to equalise. And I was apoplectic when I saw that second goal go in, because again, set piece troubles. Again, it's happened, and at least we didn't lose it, and destiny is still in our own hands. All we've got to do, just like 11 years ago, which of course I mentioned when the draw was actually brought up and put Basel in our group. Just like 11 years ago. Oh god. Yeah, just like 11 years ago, we now have to go into that last game and we have to beat Basel. It was a 3-3 draw last time. Can we beat Basel this time and go through? Because one of them ones, it's win or bust for Liverpool. My boys. But hey, let's move on to UEFA Champions League Group C. Zenit 1, Benfica 0. The early kickoff that day, actually, Danny was the only one who scored on 79 minutes, and Louis Zhao was sent off on 92 minutes. Let's shift into Bayer Leverkusen 0, Monaco 1 in the same group. Ochampos scoring the only goal of the game on 72 minutes. UEFA Champions League Group D, Arsenal 2, Borussia Dortmund 0. Yaya Sanogo sent Twitter into meltdown by scoring after 2 minutes, after most people had actually questioned his inclusion in the team, including one of the Skypers in this very Skype chat right now. Sound like Vince McMahon in this very ring, in this very chat, in this very Skype. But Alexis Sanchez scored on 57 minutes. Anderlecht 2, Galatasaray 0. Mbemba Mangulu scoring on 44 minutes, and Mbemba Mangulu scoring again on 86 minutes. Inan got sent off on 83 minutes. Quite a few bookings in that game, including Hamit Altintop. Let's pause for a second and go into Arsenal 2, Borussia Dortmund 0. Mike Harniman, you wanted to jump in on this, and hey, you were one of the ones questioning Arsene Wenger's team selection, saying you didn't like it, and that's pretty much a direct quote from your Facebook on Wednesday night. So how did you feel when Sanogo ended up scoring so early and Arsenal ended up winning and sealing their passage through into the next round?
As shocked as everyone else that Sanogo actually knows where the net is. Because I don't even think he does that in training, to be fair. I think he's kind of like, he's a decent player, he works hard, but he's not been one to get goals, which is why I would have gone with Podolski, and I'm still going to stick by that. I still think Podolski would have been a more appropriate choice, a better choice to go with. And to be honest, I reckon he'd have scored more against them as well. Because for a team that basically are going to win the group, they were absolutely awful. They were one of the worst teams I've ever seen.
I love it. One of the worst. One of the worst. That's covering quite a bit of ground, though. It's covering one hell of a lot of ground, but hey, there's one of them ones.
But for a team that are basically fighting to win the group, they gave nothing. Damian Martinez in goal. He had about 2 saves to make, and they were relatively easy ones. He was barely tested.
But the important thing is you got the result and you're through. That's always got to be the priority.
And we needed that. On the back of the result last week, we needed that a hell of a lot. And that probably helped us get through the weekend's game as well, knowing that we've got something to build on.
I hear that. I mean, Jaymie Bailey, you wanted to jump in on that result, and good evening as well.
Yeah, good evening, guys. Hopefully everybody's all right. Just watching the Football League show at the moment. In terms of this result and in terms of Saturdays, doesn't change anything for me at all. And oh my word, just seen a very good goal. But I'm going to leave that until goal of the week's promotions. 2 very good goals. In terms of the Arsenal result, doesn't change anything. Sanogo's goal, all right, fair enough. He's had enough chances, and the only thing that he reminds me of is a Spurs player, funny enough, Soldado. And
Soldado scored this week too, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah, funny that they both score in the same week, so there must be some sort of omen. And that's my opinion. I think somebody had a banner up in the Saturday game which said, "Thanks for the memories, but it's time for you to go." And you know what? I won't disagree with that. As far as I'm concerned, it's true. Time for him to make a haste and leave.
We don't want to get into that again because we've like I said last week, we've beaten that horse. That horse is dead. That horse has been dead for about 6 months, but yet it continues to still get beaten like a drum. Until
he's left.
Beaten like a dusty rug at spring cleaning, in the words of Jim Cornette. I love that as an analogy. It's one of them beaten like drums.
Dusting that off.
But let's carry on because we got some select Europa League matches from Thursday, 27th of November 2014. Tottenham 1, Partizan Belgrade 0. Stambouli getting the only goal of the game on 49 minutes. Now, in terms of this game, actually, there was a bit of controversy with it, and there were a couple of pitch invaders, but basically Tottenham pitch invaders charged over stunting Partizan Belgrade game. The trio from internet pranksters Troll Station were arrested. Tottenham may face UEFA inquiry after the pitch invasions, and the group have actually threatened to prank other London grounds. This was from Monday, December 1st, 2014. 3 men have been charged over a pitch invasion stunt which caused a Tottenham match to be temporarily suspended. Nathaniel Thompson, who's 23, Helder Gomez, 22, and Daniel Jarvis, who's 26, were arrested after the bizarre scenes during the London club's Europa League match against Partizan Belgrade on Thursday night. The match was halted shortly before half-time after men encroached onto the pitch on 3 separate occasions. 2 of them attempted to take selfie photographs on their handheld mobile devices. Spurs striker Roberto Soldado looked to strip one of the invaders of his t-shirt, which, like those worn by the other 2 intruders, bore the name of headphone manufacturer Bass Buds. The company issued a statement via Facebook condemning the action, saying it was appalled that the match was interrupted in such a manner. Remember, 3 separate invaders. You gotta look into the stewards in part, actually. Scotland Yard said on Monday that Thompson of Haringey, North London, Gomez of Stockwell, South West London, and Jarvis of Gravesend in Kent have been charged with pitch invasion. They've been bailed and will appear at Highbury Corner Magistrates Court in North London on December 18th. Jarvis was bailed to attend the police station in early January in relation to his arrest for handling stolen goods, police said. Tottenham were charged by UEFA after the incident. So we're gonna keep an eye on it. We're gonna keep an eye on that story, especially because it's a case of you can't allow as a club, you can't be allowing people to keep invading the pitch, and also it's a security issue. I mean, if 3 people can invade, and it took them a while to get those guys off as well, it's a case of you've really got to look into your security. So hey, that's my perspective on it. You really do have to look into what security measures you're taking, because we've seen players assaulted before in terms of when pitch invasions have happened. We remember Stevenage v Newcastle a couple years ago. So it's no laughing matter. It's no laughing matter. We've seen people handcuff themselves to the goals before. So, Mike Harniman, you had a question regarding the pitch invasion during Tottenham's Europa League match against Partizan Belgrade.
Yeah, like as you said, it's not the first time it's happened as well. Because where I mentioned, I think it was the previous game that Spurs played. I think there was a fan that ran on during the celebration of when Tottenham scored as well in one of the previous games. And that was another European game as well. I think it was the previous one before. So I was just wondering, a lot of people were saying the next UEFA game is going to be behind closed doors. Do you think that's a good way of going about it and sort of stopping the trouble from happening? Or do you think that would cause more trouble with the fans outside the ground and so on?
I think it's a good move. And the reason being, but unlike the CSKA Moscow stuff, which again they were supposed to play behind closed doors in the Champions League, and they had fans in the ground. It's like if you're gonna force a club to play matches behind closed doors, then make sure it's behind closed doors and no one's in the ground, because that's the whole point of it. That is actually the whole point of it. And like rather than having oh yeah, we've only got a few people in the ground. Oh, we've got the corporate sponsor. No, nobody is allowed in that ground apart from players, subs, and the officials, and that should be it. But as I said, we've seen before with kind of the whole lax rules kind of thing. Anyway, but it's one of them ones. It'll keep happening. I think it'll keep happening unless you legitimately say, right, done. Kill it, done it, bun it. It's over. It's one of them ones. You are not having anyone in the stadium apart from the officials and the players. That's how it needs to be. If you're gonna do a whole behind closed doors game, you better make sure it's behind closed doors. All right. As I said, I think it's a good deterrent as long as it's done properly. But shift on to a couple more Europa League results. Celtic 1, Red Bull Salzburg 3. Carvalho scoring on 8 minutes and 13 minutes. And Johansson scored for Celtic on 30 minutes, and on 92 minutes, Keita scored for Salzburg. Where is our next one? Wolfsburg 0, Everton 2. Lukaku scoring on 43 minutes and Kevin Mirallas scoring on 75 minutes. The first goal from Mirallas this week. He also added one later on in the week, which we'll get onto in a second. But let's shift right on to Saturday 29th of November 2014. West Brom 0, Arsenal 1. Danny Welbeck getting the only goal of the game on 60 minutes. A towering header, and the power took it past Ben Foster. Now this game was an interesting one from what I saw in the highlights. I saw bits of it before the Ibis match that I was pleased to be involved in. Yeah, I don't sound that pleased, but I was. Yeah, it's one of them ones where, yeah, as Mike Harniman says, West Brom could have nicked a draw, but they didn't. But there was one instance where Saido Berahino was pretty much in on goal, but he was flagged offside, and the replay showed that he was about 2 yards on. So it was like, ooh, that could be a turning point. Ooh, yeah. But West Brom, they would have felt aggrieved. Can guarantee they would have felt aggrieved, and hell, they ended up losing as well, so it's one of them. But Mike Harniman, what did you think of West Brom Arsenal?
I thought, well, I'm going to sound a bit weird here, but last week...
You always sound weird. What are you talking about?
Okay. Last week against Man United when we lost 2-0 was the best football that I've seen us play for a while, like creating chances and stuff. Against West Brom, we were back to being flat. We didn't create an awful lot. We didn't give them much to go on either, but we were really sort of not that great going forward. And I thought Welbeck's goal was a good finish, great work by Cazorla. But then at the same time, I think West Brom have every right to be aggrieved with that decision. He was just miles onside, like 2-3 yards, as you say, and we got lucky with the header hitting the crossbar at the end as well. And I really, well, as much as I'll take on 1-0, because obviously it's the 3 points, I think we need to be a lot better than that to be up challenging for top 4.
Definitely. No, you know, I'd agree with you on that. But as said, at the end of the day, you don't necessarily need to be good. You just need to win. And that is always the crux of the argument. You need to win, or at least get a point. You don't actually need to be that good. I mean, you don't want to be firing on all cylinders too early.
Oh, not at all. But we've not fired on all cylinders at all this season. Crystal Palace, Leicester, the amount of times that we've played these sort of teams and drawn or won like by the odd goal is not good enough for a team of our sort of stature.
But at least this one of them was where you've got some sort of result rather than getting beaten. So I mean, I think that would be the consolation. That would be the consolation to take from that. As said, you don't always need to be good to get 3 points, and in part, Arsenal was slightly fortunate to get those 3 points against West Brom, but they got them, and therein is the important thing. You got those 3 points. So, well, no, I'll go with that one. But let's go for Burnley 1, Aston Villa 1. And you know what? Joe Cole scoring on 38 minutes. He actually was onside. At first glance, looked off. Second, it was yeah, you know what? The linesman has made a brilliant decision in that one. But Danny Ings scored a penalty on 87 minutes. And you know what? It was one of them where this match really sprung into life second half. Villa had a great chance through, I think it was Jack Grealish late on. But Burnley had a good 2-3 chances to actually take this late on and didn't. But hey, it is one of them ones, man. This is one of them ones that ended up could have gone either way. But a draw is probably just about fair in that one. Liverpool 1, Stoke 0. Glenn Johnson literally putting his body on the line to score on 85 minutes, the only goal of the game. Now, with this game, a very, very scraptastic first half. It was just not nice to watch at all. It was Sunday League scrappy. In terms of the first half, but the second half really, really lived up. I mean, Bojan hitting the post, couple good saves from Mignolet. Liverpool had chances ourselves. I mean, Henderson almost scored again, a nice, neat little goal that he was involved in from start to finish. We had a couple of other chances as well. I think Stoke even hit the bar at one point. They had one actually cleared off the line by Sterling, and Sterling actually originally wasn't on the post. But he kind of trundled back onto the post, and a good thing as well. But it was nuts. I mean, we could have stole it towards the end as well. Sterling had a chance that he put narrowly wide too. So it was one of them ones, man. It was absolutely mad. But the fact of the matter is, we got the win, and hey, all these rumours of Glenn Johnson going. I'm not part of the brigade that wants him out. I want him to stay, in all honesty, but there's a lot of people who jump on bandwagons. Man United 3, Hull City 0. Big shout out to Jazzy Fizzle on this one. Of course, shout out to the G-Man on the Arsenal result. But shout out to Jazzy Fizzle on this one because Chris Smalling opened the scoring on 16 minutes. Nearly got another later on as well. Wayne Rooney scored on 42 minutes. Robin Van Persie scored a quality finish on 66 minutes. Good finish. Will it be anyone's goal of the week? Stuff of the week is later on in the show. QPR 3, Leicester 2, and probably game of the weekend in the Premier League. Esteban Cambiasso scoring on 4 minutes. Wes Morgan unfortunately scoring an own goal on 37 minutes. Leroy Thayer scoring on 45 minutes. Schlupp scored on 67 minutes, and Charlie Austin won the game on 73 minutes. And you know, this was one of those topsy-turvy games. If Leicester had pulled out and gotten another goal and went 2-0 up, I think it would have been theirs for the taking, and they had their chances as well. Robert Green was called into action a good few times, but so was Kasper Schmeichel as well. But the fact is, no, despite the late assault by Leicester City, QPR held on for the win, and a vital win as well. I think they're now third bottom, so it's one of them ones, man. It's one of them. As I said, if any of the Skypers want to jump in, let us know. Swansea 1, Palace 1. Wilfred Bonney scoring on 15 minutes, and Jedinak scoring the equaliser from the penalty spot to level out the game. Bonney in hot scoring form still. He's got 14 goals in 2014 now, making him the Premiership's most prolific striker from point A to point B in terms of 2014. So all good. West Ham 1, Newcastle 0. Aaron Cresswell scoring on 56 minutes, the only goal of the game. Musa Sissoko, flop of the week contender definitely, for getting two cards in basically 45 seconds. He got booked harshly for the first one, but the second one was just stupid. I mean, it's one of them. I mean, you've already been booked for pretty much dissent. I mean harsh in terms of if he was going to get booked for the tackle. I mean, the tackle didn't really look like there was much in it. But then him kicking the ball away, that was what he ended up getting the booking for, and that's dissent anyway you look at it. But the second tackle that he made on Andy Carroll, it was like, why did you need to do that? Why you do this, Sissoko? Why you do that? It was one of them. It's like why would you do that when you're on a card, when you're on a yellow card? I mean, I really don't get it. But still, West Ham got the win and stopped Newcastle's winning run of late. Wonder how long it will take for the Pardew out brigade to return. But Sunderland 0, Chelsea 0. Costa was booked on 55 minutes, and he was actually lucky to be on the pitch. I mean, the booking that he got was actually, I felt that the booking that he received for that flying arm on Wes Brown, that should have been for the reaction. That should have been actually a red for the reaction on John O'Shea. That's what I reckon, because with the Wes Brown thing, that kind of thing can happen all the time, and most of the time you get away with it. There didn't even look like there was intent in that. But the John O'Shea thing where he kicked out, I was like, raw, how has he not been sent off for it? How has he not at least been carded? So I think the ref might have been evening that one up. But Virginie had a big chance to win the game for Sunderland, but also Adam Johnson had the best chance for Sunderland as well. And it was like, oh, you need to bury that. You bury that. I think it was on like 83 minutes. If he'd buried that, Sunderland would have won it. But Chelsea, the so-called unstoppable juggernaut, one of them ones. Sunderland stopped him scoring. So if you can stop someone scoring, and a better team would have buried the chances that Virginie and Johnson had, then hell, Chelsea are not unbeatable. I've said that for a while. They are not unbeatable at all. Let's shift into take a couple results from the Championship, actually. Where are we going to go? Brentford 4, Wolves 0. Alan Judge scoring on 29 minutes. Dallas scoring on 74 minutes. Gray scoring on 82 minutes. And Romalo scoring on 94 minutes. Leeds United 2, Derby County 0. Antonucci scoring twice. First on 43 minutes, second on 50 minutes. We have a general talking point about Leeds United. The turmoil rolls on. Middlesbrough Blackburn, I think, was the featured game on the Football League show, and Patrick Bamford opened scoring on 83 minutes, and Rudy Gestede scored on 95 minutes. Wigan, who were kind of a source of debate last week, they were beaten 2-1 by Sheffield Wednesday. McCann scored on 26 minutes, May scored on 27 minutes, and May scored again on 71 minutes to give Sheffield Wednesday the win. Dropping down. By the way, big shout out to Kieran Riley. Unlucky, dude. Unlucky. You got turned over by Brentford. I love it. The Bees turned them over. Let's drop down quickly to Stevenage 1, Morecambe 1. Walton scored a penalty on 62 minutes and Ammon scored on 85 minutes to equalise for Morecambe. Mike Harniman, you want to jump in on Stevenage Morecambe?
I just think it's a decent point. Could have been all three, really, because they only scored in the last sort of 5 minutes. But I think point at this stage of the season isn't good enough when you're sort of sitting mid-table in the league. When you're 1-0 up, you've got to go and try and get a second goal, and that's what we went wrong, trying to defend on the lead we had.
Yeah, I hear that. I mean, we've also got in League 2 as well, Southend 2, Northampton 0. Archer got sent off for Northampton on 67 minutes. Core scored the resulting penalty on 69, and Worrell scored on 79. Tom Wood, you want to jump in on Southend v Northampton?
All I can say, the penalty we got wasn't a penalty, because basically the keeper didn't even touch our striker. He dived over him. I was right in front of it, and I'm even admitting that. And I even spoke to their goalkeeper after the game, and he even agreed with us. Like, me and my mates were talking to all the Northampton players after the game, and it wasn't a penalty. But other than that, it was a decent result for us, to be honest.
No, I hear that. That's what it was. Hey, it's brave to admit that it wasn't a penalty and it was a dive. Another referee getting conned off. Jumping just back to the Championship briefly, Brighton 1, Fulham 2. Darren Bent scoring on 52 minutes and Hugo Rodallega scoring on 62 minutes. Christensen scoring on 77 minutes and Kalunga got sent off on 92 minutes. Jaymie Bailey, did you want to jump in on the Fulham result?
Yeah, I think that was a decent result, considering that we lost to Brentford last week, and all of a sudden we've gone and done the opposite to what happened to us last week. So great resilience and great show of strength and character by the boys. Hopefully we can keep Christmas as stress-free as possible. But there are going to be big games coming up, so we have to watch out. And funny enough, we do have Brighton at the end of the month, so and that's at home. So it should be fun just to see how both teams have learned from each other.
Yeah, see if we can get that bounce back ability. That bounce back ability once again. The bounce back ability is what it's all about. It's what it's all about. There was a result that we've been requested to go through, and that is, where in the hell did that one go? Hold on. MK Dons 6, Colchester 0. Ali scoring on 11 minutes. Benikofobi scored on 37, 45 and 58 minutes. Reeves scored on 67 minutes and Hodgson scored on 91 minutes. Packwood was sent off on 67. Tom Wood, did you want to jump in on MK Dons v Colchester?
Yeah, I've got to say to all you Colchester fans, LOL!
Wait, I've got something in response. I've got something in response to that. Because, Mike Harniman, you wanted to jump in as well, yeah?
Yeah, just to go along with what Tom said. Do you remember back in 2012? 6-1? Well, you didn't even score against the MK Dons. You must be getting worse.
Oh, that's liberties. Life sucks and then you die. Oh, my word. Life sucks and then you die. But you know what? It is one of them ones where it is. Have to switch it up just a touch because we got to go into Sunday's results. So we start with Southampton 0, Manchester City 3 down at St Mary's. A match that we were actually doing Pitch Talk live updates on. Yaya Toure opened the scoring on 51 minutes after Sergio Aguero got booked on 9 minutes. He got booked for being fouled for what was a Stonewall penalty. Referee. When I saw that tackle and I saw Aguero get booked, it was a case of
I don't know what the hell's going on here. Wait a minute, but I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But I don't like it. I don't like it at all. That was how I felt. It was like, I don't know what the hell is going on. But all you could really give the referee was a bit odd that day anyway. But you had to say, with that decision to book Aguero, it literally was
5 stars. -5 stars. -5 stars.
That's all you can say about that decision because it was about as far from a dive as you could get. Weird. Don't get it. Really, really don't get how a referee can be looking at that and give that as a dive. Nah. I'm sorry, but no, I can't agree with Stan Collymore on what he tweeted either. Oh, if the players didn't go down all the time, then the referee would have an easier job. Nah, there's no justifying that bad a mistake. That was such a glaring error. But Mangala got sent off on 74 minutes, deservedly so, to be honest. 80 minutes, Frank Lampard scored, and Kyle Clichy, who was set up by Sergio Aguero, scored his first goal for Manchester City on 88 minutes. Good finish as well. Top corner. Top left-hand corner. Good finish. Man City were impressive in this. They legitimately were impressive. I mean, I got to say, Southampton didn't really have much to worry them with, in all honesty. So it was one of them ones. Let's go to Tottenham 2, Everton 1. Kevin Morales opened the scoring on 15 minutes. Wow! What a goal. Easy goal of the week contender from Morales on 15 minutes. Christian Eriksen scored on 21 minutes and Roberto Soldado scored on 45 plus 1. Basically, first half stoppage time. Now, with both of these goals, off the ball running was important. Harry Kane's off the ball running, in terms of Soldado's goal, and Eriksen's goal, it was one of them ones. I think it was Kane's run in the first place that led to the save by Howard, and then Eriksen pounced on it. So hell, it's one of them ones. The fact of the matter is, Tottenham were full value for this victory as well. Everton tried as they might, but they just lacked that cutting edge. And both teams usually have a Europa League hangover, but it was Everton who had it this time in terms of the result. So, we have in the house Mr. Ian Kerr. Are you with us?
I am with yous.
Wait. But I'm not a sheep. I'm not a sheep. With U's EWE. Sorry. I know that was terrible. So what I will do, we will pause that particular track because it is time for, and Mike, don't even try it about -5 stars. You think you're funny. But it is one of them where it is time for, I'm gonna try not to botch it like last week because that was quite nuts. But that's how you know we're live. It's time for Oh, you didn't know? Ian Kerr's going to tell you about A-League football.
Yeah, sure, why not? I mean, I'm here. I may as well. I've got nothing else planned right now, so if it's not too much trouble.
I love it. I love it.
Well, I'd like to trot out a cliche like it's been a big weekend in football or something like that. But hello, can you hear me over my theme music? My goodness.
Oh, we can hear you. Oh, we can hear you.
Marvellous. I don't know where to start. It was an unusual round of football down in Australia this past weekend. We had a couple of really boring games. My goodness, they were boring. We had some other games that were just bananas. But look, let's just go over a couple of the highlights. I mean, I know I go on about this every week, but Melbourne City, what a shambles. Just the City Football Group has come in, thrown a whole lot of money at this club, and they are just as bad as they were last year. They have not recruited well. They don't have any defenders apart from Patrick Kisnorbo, right? He's basically it. Him and the goalkeeper, that's their defence. And that's it. Think about it. They lost 5-1 on the weekend. Now, 5-1, and they were lucky to get the one, right? And it's just been a shambles from start to finish the whole season. They're not even in the top 6 at the moment. And this is how generous we are in Australia, everybody. It's a 10-team league, and the top 6 go through to the finals. Okay, so they're not even in the top 6. So make of that what you will. They had David Villa come in. Obviously, he was a bit of a flop. He played 4 games and then nicked off back to New York. They signed the Slovenian midfielder Robert Koren. He played for Hull City in the Championship a couple of years ago, and he played for somebody else in the Championship. Eludes me at the moment. Maybe one of the Skypers will be able to come up with it. He's come over to Australia and got injured. He's 34 years old. What did Melbourne City do last year? They got Orlando Angell, the former Dutch midfielder. What happened to him? Got injured. They had Vince Grella last season as well. Vince Grella, a former Australian national team player, brilliant player, played in the Serie A for many years. He basically got injured before he even got a chance to play a game, had a career-ending calf injury before he even played a game. So this is a club that, despite having all this money, is unable to recruit. It is pathetic. So there's all this talk about them changing the league and being able to challenging for the title. Hasn't happened. Just, they're a joke. It's a joke club, and anyway, I'll move on from it because Wellington Phoenix was the team that defeated them 5-1, and Phoenix were good value for their 5 goals. They've done well. They're a small club, dare I say it, based in New Zealand, the only New Zealand team that plays in the Australian A-League, and they're going okay. They're sort of middle of the table, which is about where they often are. It's going to take something special for them to make it further up the league table. I will just quickly mention some of the other results. I haven't really paused to take a breath yet. So if anyone wants to jump in and ask me a question, don't, because I'm on a roll. On Sunday afternoon, Newcastle Jets played against Central Coast. No, Emile Heskey does not play for the Jets anymore, and it was one of the worst games I've ever seen. It was 1-1, and the one at either side for either each team saying it came within a few minutes of each other, and that was about it. We may as well just we had the second goal. Let's go back to drinking tinnies out in the grandstand. But Central Coast Mariners they might have drawn 1-1 and managed to get through the game without controversy, but they're still caught in controversy because now they've got an owner who's rumoured to be trying to move the team from Gosford, which is on New South Wales' beautiful Central Coast, to the northern suburbs of Sydney. So watch this space. Now let's get on to the interesting stuff that happened on the weekend. There are, apart from this local derby, they call it, that last match I should mention between Newcastle Jets and Central Coast Mariners, they call it the F3 Derby. Why the F3 Derby? Because that is the highway that connects the two cities. I kid you not. So they call it the F3 Derby. There was a proper derby on the weekend. That was Sydney versus Western Sydney Wanderers. And it was a proper jam-packed, action-filled, controversial derby. It finished 1-1, which was probably about right because Western Sydney Wanderers had a lot of chances but couldn't convert. Sydney, on the other hand, Look it up on the internet, people. Bernie Ibini, and Ibini is spelled I-B-I-N-I. Bernie Ibini scored an amazing goal for Sydney FC on the weekend. Basically, it was a clearance. He picked it up on the halfway line, ran the length of the pitch, or the length of the pitch, the rest of the pitch, half length of the pitch, and then shot from outside the penalty area with his left foot. Amazing goal. Look it up on the YouTubes and the whatnots. What else can I tell you? Perth Glory still top of the table. They drew 1-1 against Brisbane Roar. Brisbane Roar, you might recall from last week, they sacked their coach. Their coach, oddly enough, has just won Sports Person of the Year up in Queensland a few days after being sacked as coach, so worked that one out. But they didn't have, you know how a lot of times you change coach and there's this bounce back, right? So the club that's going terribly, they sack the coach, and the next week the players win, and you think, well, why couldn't you idiots do that while the coach was still there? Well, it didn't happen this time. The Brisbane sacked their coach. There was no comeback. They drew 1-1 with Perth Glory, who are still on top of the table. What else can I tell you? Adelaide versus Melbourne Victory. The traditional rivals, Friday night at Amy Park in Melbourne. It was an amazing game. Adelaide scored 3 goals in the opening 16 minutes, but they were still 2-1 down because 2 of those goals were own goals. So not a great start for Adelaide. 3-2 it was at halftime in favour of Melbourne Victory, and that's how it finished. But it was an amazing game for a couple of reasons. First of all, the action and the excitement that always comes with Melbourne Victory versus Adelaide, 2 clubs that genuinely loathe each other. But the other thing was, at the 63-minute mark, there was a minute of applause. Now, I don't know if you guys have talked about this already in the show, but during the week, the Australian cricketer Phil Hughes died. He got struck by a cricket ball. He was playing for New South Wales, got hit by a cricket ball while he was batting, and he was on 63 not out at the time, died a few days later in hospital, and really made a lot of news in Australia. There was a lot of outpouring of grief about it. And I suppose in a lot of ways it's because, when a sports person dies on the field, you often think, well, that could have been me, right? You know, when you're playing cricket, you might have been hit by a cricket ball, or if you're playing football, you might have had, something happen. You think, well, look, I could have died then. But this has actually happened. So this bloke's died, 26 years old, had played for Australia in the cricket, and so there was a sustained minute of applause at the 63-minute mark to commemorate the fact that he was 63 not out when he was struck by the cricket ball. And it was a beautiful moment, and that was done all around the league over the weekend to commemorate the death of Phil Hughes. So there you go, fellas. I've managed to do that without any prompting. How's that?
No prompting, no scripted ad-libs. By the way, we are actually going to segue next into a minute silence for Mitchell Cole and Philip Hughes as well, but we will do that in a second. For now, it is one of them ones where we have to ask the usual question. Ian, where can we find more information about Thin White Line? The website, the shop, the podcast. Where can we find all that information?
That's a great question. Actually, if you go to our web shop right now, we're offering, because it's Cyber Monday, right? And I don't know, Cyber Monday, Black Friday, it's all happening. And we've got 25% off our magazines at the moment. So if you want 25% off our magazines, go to our website, thinwhitelinemagazine.com. That's thinwhitelinemagazine.com. Go to the web shop. There's a great big link that says shop up at the top of the screen, all right? Go there and you'll find 25% off all of our magazines, issue 0, issue 1 and issue 2, all there, 25% off. And we'll post anywhere in the world, no matter where you are. As long as you're on planet Earth, we'll post it there. All right. So thinwhitelinemagazine.com. You can follow us on Twitter, Tweet White Line. You can like us on Facebook, which is Thin White Line Magazine. We're even on Instagram, but I have no idea what our Instagram handle is. You'll find us though. We're out there somewhere.
If you're out there, you'll be found, because the interwebs are a strangely small place. I don't know why I'm doing it in the Randy Savage voice. As said, I watched the Macho Man Randy Savage story. It was absolutely fantastic. I recommend it. I definitely recommend it. But you know what I'd also recommend as well is thinwhitelinemagazine.com. check out their podcast as well. So on them ones, heard the
Check
round.
out our podcast.
Yeah.
We have a podcast. It's awesome.
Heard the roundup, check the podcast. Heard the roundup, check the podcast. Remember that. Just like last week, we were like, seen the show, buy the shirt, buy the shirt. So one of them was podcast and the shop as well. 25% off. That's a nice little discount. And remember, with that 25% discount, you haven't got to boot no one in the head at a supermarket to get it. And their supplies will last. So it's one of them ones. An easy 25%.
Oh, they won't
discount.
last. I've only got 5 copies of issue 1 left, so you need to get in quick.
See, there we go. Run like your head is on fire to get those copies. Or run to your computer.
Elbow some grannies to get to us.
Run to your computer to do it. But you know what? Yeah, that's actually quite a funny one. That might, yeah, that is. I like that. The Black Friday thing just went absolutely crazy. You know, some people will go mad over a discount off something that they weren't going to buy in the first place, and that is probably overpriced anyway. But Corporal Rado Mill strike one for anyone who is involved in the Black Friday stupidness. But you know what? It is time for us to switch segments, but before we do switch segments, what we will do is we will pause that track because just like the footballing world and around as well, we've had Philip Hughes die unfortunately in the past week, and also today, December 1st, is the 2-year anniversary. Is actually the 2-year anniversary of Mitchell Cole's death. Basically, Cole had to retire because of a heart condition, which was hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, which is an irregular thickness of the heart in certain areas. He actually died at 27, only a year younger than I am now. So it's one of them. Was the former Southend, Stevenage and Oxford United player Mitchell Cole passed away 2 years ago. So for the 2-year anniversary, we'd ask everyone to lay out just for a minute, and also for Philip Hughes as well, a big time shout out to Mile Jedinak, the Australian international who actually paid his own tribute before the Crystal Palace match this weekend as well. So we're going to have a quick minute's silence for both individuals in honor of Mitchell Cole and in honor of Philip Hughes as well. So we're going to start that minute now. Thanks for observing that, guys. And you know what? It is time for us. As said, we got general talking points. We got a lot to talk about. But at the end of the day, sometimes you just have to stop and pay your respects. And that was for Philip Hughes, who died this past week, and the 2-year anniversary of Mitchell Cole's death in 2012. So, you know what? On that rather somber note, it is time for us to switch segments. And a big shout out to Finn White Line Magazine at Tweet White Line on Twitter, facebook.com/Finn White Line, Finn White Line Magazine, and also www.finnwhitelinemagazine.com as well. It is time for us to switch into
General talking points.
Wow, wow. Wow, wow. Wow, wow. Because of technical problems, you can't see me. Dancing in the studio tonight. I know I can't sing, but it is still so fun. Why? Because this is Pitch Talk. Oh yes. Yeah. It is one of them ones where, you know what? Couple of inches. No, I'm actually not drinking Lucasade this week. I'm drinking water and eating Jaffa cakes. Seen the show? Buy the Jaffas. You know, it is one of them ones where Roy Keane, assistant manager Roy Keane, has left Aston Villa with immediate effect on November 28th, 2014. He has relinquished the role after struggling to combine it with a similar position he holds with the Republic of Ireland as Martin O'Neill's assistant. The 43-year-old only became Paul Lambert's number 2 in Villa in July. Ultimately, my roles with Villa and Ireland are combining my commitment to these have become too much. It isn't fair to either Villa or Ireland, so I've made this decision, Keane said. The former Man United midfielder has also managed Sunderland and Ipswich, has also been struggling to find enough time to spend with his family, a club spokesman said. So, Villa manager Paul Lambert said the club would aim to fill the position as soon as was practically possible. Roy came to me this morning and he informed me that ultimately the difficulty of combining both roles has prompted this decision, which I respect totally, he said. In this brief period we have worked together, he has been great in the role and I understand his reasons for leaving. Interesting rumours that are actually coming out about this. Apparently, there was an issue to do with the players, which is to do with Keane leaving, but there's been no confirmation of that. It's all rumours at the moment. But you know what? The fact of the matter is, you can't necessarily blame Roy Keane for leaving, but at the end of the day, you should kind of, I don't know, you kind of almost should have seen it coming. When you've got two roles at once, and especially with Villa not doing that well at the moment, you got to look at it and think that's going to be difficult, and one of them is always going to get sacrificed. Some people like can't handle playing international football and club football at the same time. That's playing. So if you're an assistant manager, but it's got to be even harder. But with this, it's a case of with Keane, I just see it as at least he could have done it for the season, because there's not a European Championship next year, so it's not as if Ireland have that to prepare for. And I think Villa probably need him more than Ireland do at the moment. So he's kind of left Paul Lambert in the lurch in a way, because he's only been there since July. So I think that's kind of a weird one. But the one thing I wouldn't want to see is Roy Keane turn up in a management position in a month's time, because it'd be like, wait, no, you're an assistant and you're taking the mickey out of Villa then. But do any of the Skypers want to jump in on this, on Roy Keane leaving his Aston Villa assistant manager post? Jaymie Bailey, how about him, man?
I really thought he was going to be loyal to the cause. Seriously. As far as I've seen it, is he's loyal to one nation, and obviously the nation have got him for the duration that his contract is there.
And even so, he walked out on that nation in 2002. Let's not forget that. So that's not undying loyalty.
Yeah, but look at it. He's walked out on pretty much everybody. Manchester United. He's walked out on the Republic of Ireland. He's walked out on Aston Villa.
So are you part of the CWO with him? Are you expecting him to? Are you part of the CWO with Roy Keane? Then are you expecting Roy Keane to at some point just drop and leave Ireland? Then, in terms of
I'm just seeing it as if he's going to stick with something, then I guess this would probably be it. International management. As far as I'm concerned, the last two managerial jobs that he got, Ipswich and Sunderland, he got sacked from. So I don't think club football is really his thing anymore.
Well, I guess it might be one of them ones where, hey, you never know. It might have been too intense. It might have been too intense for him. It might just have been something like that. But hey, of course, we ain't here to perpetuate rumors because there's no real facts that have come out from this yet. So apart from the fact that he's left,
it never is.
So well, you can find facts if you dig deep enough. You can find facts, and that's what we always try and do.
Like his autobiography.
Well, I'm not going to go into that. I'm not going to go into certain people's autobiographies because that's thorny issues. But hey, it's one of them. It's one of them was. But you know, but I mean, so as I said, how much do you think this is going to benefit the Republic of Ireland?
In trust, it's a bit like having a job in England. If you're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4 jobs, it only benefits the company. It doesn't benefit you, because as I've seen it, I've worked with 3 different clubs all at the same time. It's not easy just working on 3 different philosophies, especially when one of those clubs don't really have a proper philosophy to go with. So you're kind of working on something that you're just basically working on hearsay, really. And for him, he's working on 2 things. One, a philosophy of we need to bring players through at one club, in terms of the nation, so that we can actually qualify. And in terms of the club, we need the results. 2 different things. He might be assistant manager for both, but he needs the results at one. He needs the results at one stage, and at another, he needs to bring players through. So it's almost conflicting in terms of what he has to deal with. And for me, as a coach, I need to work on a certain philosophy for a certain period of time, and if it's going to be a seasonal thing, then I need to have that philosophy consistently for that season, rather than having to say, oh well, we're working on something completely different every single week. Because as you've seen, most clubs do have a philosophy, and they're working on that. And I think Gus Poyet actually mentioned it on Saturday night after for his post-match interview. He's not working with players that can play the Barcelona way. He's working with players that can play the Sunderland way. So, as said, I think Keane has his reasons, but whether he's going to stay loyal to the cause is anybody's guess. As far as I'm concerned, we're just working on what we've got, and as such, we're 4th in the table for the Republic of Ireland's group, and hopefully we can actually turn that around against Poland.
No, I hear that. I mean, it's one of them ones. I mean, of course. I mean, I'm hoping it benefits the Republic of Ireland, because at the end of the day, if it's going to be to the detriment of Aston Villa, it might as well benefit the Republic of Ireland. There's no point Roy Keane quitting the role and then it benefiting no one, because then that defeats the object of actually quitting the Villa role as assistant manager. But well,
I think we have to see on how it plays out, because obviously there's still another year to go before we find out who's actually going to be in the Euros for 2016. So let's just see how we do in the group, and hopefully we can actually beat Scotland in Dublin, especially with having Germany there as well. So we've got a lot to think about, really.
I'm gonna stick on that last sentence you said. A lot to think about. Leeds United right now have a hell of a lot to think about, because their owner, Massimo Cellino, has been disqualified from owning Leeds United by the Football League. This is from December 1st, 2014. Massimo Cellino has been disqualified from owning Leeds United after the Football League announced the Italian has failed its owners and directors test. The Italian won an appeal against the league's decision to block his takeover of the club in April, but after receiving detailed evidence from the Italian court that convicted him of tax evasion, the governing body has ruled he is not fit to continue as the club's president, and he could now be forced to sell the club. The league's board of directors agreed unanimously at a meeting last week after finally receiving the Italian judge's written report on Cellino's conviction for failing to pay tax on his yacht. That Cellino is subject to a disqualifying condition under the terms of the test. Cellino has been told he must resign from his position immediately and has 14 days in which to lodge any appeal, but should the decision be upheld, the sanction will apply until March 18, 2015, when under UK law the conviction is deemed to be spent. The league has also asked an independent disciplinary commission to consider whether Cellino and or Leeds breached league regulations by not disclosing relevant information in a timely manner. The Football League said in a statement at its meeting last week, the board considered the reasoned judgment of the Italian court against Mr. Cellino, having successfully applied to the Italian courts for its full disclosure. The board considered detailed legal advice and agreed unanimously that Mr. Cellino is subject to a disqualifying condition under the terms of the owners and directors test. As the judgment of the Italian court has not been published in Italy, the Football League will not make any of its contents public. Now, it's one of them was now in reaching now basically a little bit more detail about that. The disqualifying condition basically Massimo Cellino was found guilty of an offence under Italian tax legislation relating to the non-payment of import duties on a boat, which resulted in him being fined €600,000. In April 2014, the decision was successfully appealed by Mr. Cellino at a hearing of the PCC, Professional Conduct Committee, chaired by an independent QC sitting alone. In reaching his verdict, Tim Kerr QC concluded that Mr. Cellino has satisfied me that on the facts before me, what he was convicted of was not conduct which would reasonably be considered to be dishonest, before going on to state that if the reasoned ruling of the court in Cagliari discloses that the conduct of Mr. Cellino was such that it would be reasonably considered to be dishonest, he would become subject to a disqualifying condition. So basically, with this, apparently Cellino actually is going to appeal it. Can't blame him, to be honest. Additionally, the board concluded that it was appropriate to ask an independent football disciplinary commission, FDC, to consider whether Mr. Cellino and or Leeds United breached league regulations. So, in terms of handing over the information in a timely manner. Now, the thing with this, the interesting thing with this, March 2015 is actually not that far away. I've got a birthday in that month. It's not that far away. It's 4 months. So by the time he's appealed, by the time all that's been heard, he could actually be eligible within like 2-3 months of trying to own Leeds again. But if you got stung once, why would you want to get stung again? Which is some of the debate that I said to Russ Vernon, one of our regulars. It's one of them ones where it's kind of like, why would you want to get burnt twice? But he's been convicted twice of fraud anyway. So tax evasion, fraud, not. I mean, especially when you're rich, why are you evading taxes? You don't need to. But the fact of the matter is, the crap's hit the fan. The crap's hitting the fan, and Leeds United will suffer because of this. Because if the Football League end up finding Leeds United have breached league regulations relating to the timely disclosure of the information, because obviously if this information has been delayed deliberately just so that Cellino can buy Leeds United, run Leeds United, potentially run it into the ground and muck up a lot of things, because he has mucked up quite a bit already in the 4 or 5 months he's owned it. The fact of the matter is, that's obviously going to be looked upon as foul play and chicanery. to which Leeds are going to get punished for it, and Cellino will probably just take the punishment and bugger off, leaving Leeds United in the lurch again. So I think there are some Leeds fans who are trying to say that the Sky Bet Football League are corrupt. No. You need to point them guns inwards and look at your owner in terms of being corrupt. The dude's been convicted of fraud twice. In the words of Diamond Dallas Page, he's a two-time convicted fraudster. So it's one of them ones. The fact that he's been convicted of the same thing twice, he's been convicted of fraud twice, that has always raised alarm bells to me. When we heard on this show that he was trying to take over Leeds, we were like, no, he should not be allowed anywhere near a club. If you've been convicted of fraud, I wouldn't want you running a amateur league football club tour, let alone running a football club. I wouldn't want you running a bath, let alone a bloody football club. So it's a case of the Cellino thing. I've never agreed with anyway. But obviously we've got Russ Vernon, who's one of our regulars, who at first was like, no, we don't want Cellino. Then he changed and was like, yeah, Cellino in. Then it was like, not really keen on it. Then it was like, and it's like, oh God. And we did ask the question a few weeks ago, do you believe in Cellino? And we eventually got to the answer, and Russ said yes. But it's a case of, if the reasoned ruling of the court in Cagliari discloses that the conduct of Mr. Cellino was such that it would be reasonably considered to be dishonest, he would become subject to a disqualifying condition. Well, it's now seen to be dishonest, so he's subject to a disqualifying condition, and he's basically got to sell up the club. He's got 14 days to appeal. If he does appeal, obviously he's going to drag it out because he's not going to want to let go of Leeds, because these owners see football clubs as cash cows. But the fact of the matter is, I've never looked at Cellino and thought, yeah, he'd be a good person to run a club. And it's very interesting that it's months later that people are coming back and saying, all right, nah, this dude needs to go. We just got a text through from Ross Vernon, actually. Hi, Liam, G-Man, Jezzy, and the Skypers. Home from hospital since just after 6. We will listen from tennis. Ross Vernon. #LUFC. Big shout out to Ross Vernon, by the way. 07535804466. 07535804466 is the mobile number. Call us, text us, let us know your views. Skypers, if you want to jump in on this, let us know as well. But this whole Cellino thing, I think is a cluster F of epic proportions. The thing is, he's already been buggering over the club anyway, and it's just gotten even worse. It's just getting even worse, and he's essentially dragging the name of the club through the mud as well. So it's an interesting. Tom Wood, what was that you said in the Skype chat about Cellino?
It's basically just ruining the football, to be honest. Keep chopping and changing managers. But Alan's Redfern going to last. Is he going to be there for the rest of there until he's gone till Cellino's gone? Who knows?
This is the thing that I also posted on Russ's FB page, when he was like, what does this mean? Where someone put on his page, what does this mean for Leeds? And I was like, it means that Leeds are potentially buggered again, because the turmoil already that Cellino's caused himself, in terms of, well, the turmoil he caused taking over in the first place, the turmoil he's caused by getting rid of 3-4 managers in the space of a couple of months, and now this turmoil of him potentially being booted out of his position by the Football League because he's not paying tax on a yacht. It's a case of, first and foremost, if you've got a yacht, you've got enough money to pay taxes on it. I just want to say that. But also the fact of the matter is, why? I just don't get when people who are rich or wealthy dodge taxes. That's one thing that has always baffled me. That has always really confused me. It's like saying, oh, I'm in poverty, but you got a 42-inch TV that you just bought on Black Friday. And it's like, what? That doesn't even make sense. It's one of them. It's just like a chocolate teapot. It doesn't make sense. It's like Sepp Blatter saying anything. Doesn't make sense. Right. I mean, Tom Wood, you wanted to mention something about Southend in relation to this?
Yeah, in a way, like, it's just sort of what's going on with our club. Like, 1 minute we're saying we're going to get our stadium, which is like happened like ages ago when we was in the Championship, and ever since, like, everyone mentions about it, they don't. Like, there's nothing been brought up recently about it. Like, because we're sort of basically owned by Sainsbury's, but in a way, like, they've bought our stadium, and at the end of the day, if they want to move into our like kick us out of the club, then we've got nowhere to go, to be honest. It's the chairman's fault, to be honest, with us. But in a way, I want a new stadium, but in a way I don't. But I want to stay where we are, but I don't know where we're going to end up going.
I mean, Jaymie Bailey, you wanted to jump in on this as well.
Yeah, basically the reason why I wanted to jump in, I can see everybody's gripe about what's going on with the whole Leeds United situation, but
which we want to stay on, yeah.
Yeah, I see. It happened at Fulham, and Arsenal are pretty much in a position where they can pretty much buy their own players now. Which, if you're still Wenger, then it's not going to happen.
Well, let's not stick on that, but of course it's relating to Leeds.
No, all right. With Fulham and Shahida Khan, he bought the club last year, and everybody kind of saw the turmoil that was going through. And when he kept Felix Magath in, it pretty much destroyed the club. But I think it destroyed the club in a good way, because all of the players that have come through now, that Kit Simmons has brought through, pretty much are thriving on the pressure of Championship football. And I think in general, this whole money laundering thing, if Shahida Khan had not, I think Shahida Khan has left everything to what Kit Simmons wants, from first team to I think the under 16s, I think. So he's just basically looking at it and saying, well, I control the finances, and I'll leave the other side to you. So I think within the structure of things, if Leeds actually had a stability in terms of management on the pitch, and then somebody to work with Cellino off of it, it might just keep it away from what's actually going on.
But then the thing is, you can't get any sort of managerial stability if there's no stability with ownership, because at the end of the day, you look at I've brought this up before in terms of WCW in the early 90s. They kept changing the head booker, from your Dusty Rhodes to Jim Hurd to Cowboy Bill Watts. They kept changing things, and if there's no consistency at the top, then you're not going to get consistency anywhere else. I mean, if you've got a revolving door of ownership, let alone a revolving door of management, they work hand in hand. Look at Portsmouth when their ownership was being passed around more than chlamydia at a teenage party. It's a case of the ownership kept changing hands. I think it was something like 8 owners in 2 years. As I've said before, I don't even know how you get the paperwork through that fast. But you've had that, and then you can't keep traction with managers, because if everything above you is changing, you're on shaky ground, you're on shaky foundations. And this is what Leeds have been finding out over the past 15 years. That's why they've been up and down in the Championship and never been able to get back to the Premier League, because they've not had the consistency there, and it doesn't look like they're going to get the consistency anytime soon either.
I think Leeds should actually just go and do what Portsmouth did, and literally just get the club, the fans just to own the club again, because it seems like it worked for them before, and after Ken Bates literally took over, I think the problems kind of started there, or even before then, Peter Ridsdale and all of those guys there.
It was the Ridsdale thing back in like 2001, where Leeds kind of really, they thought they'd hit the big time, they overspent, and it all collapsed pretty quickly. But the thing is, could the Leeds fans afford to own and run the club?
I think they can.
I mean, Portsmouth are doing it now, and they've only just come out of debt in the past month or two. But the fact of the matter is, Leeds would be saddled with a hell of a lot of stuff.
But I think they can. If there's how many fans around the world that still support Leeds, and how many fans that still go to the stadium, just do exactly what Portsmouth did, and hopefully, if it does take a couple of relegations, then fine. It's the same thing with what I'm saying with Fulham. It took a relegation just to realise that we needed to start thinking ahead rather than thinking in the moment.
Well, see, the Fulham thing I think is slightly different because there was a change in because of the change in ownership. Mohamed Al Fayed had been in charge of that club so long. Anyone coming in Shahid Khan came in and started trying to change stuff instantly, and it destabilized the club. So I think that's a little bit of a different issue. But the fact of the matter is, Cellino is legitimately in hot water legally, so he's got to watch out. He's got to watch out. But you know what? Yeah. Speaking of, obviously Cellino has been investigated. Another thing that's been investigated is Premier League TV rights. Premier League TV rights are to be probed by Ofcom. This is from November 18th, 2014. Broadcasting watchdog Ofcom has opened an investigation into how the Premier League sells TV media rights for its football matches, live TV media rights for its football matches in the UK. It follows a complaint from Virgin Media, which said more matches should be available for live broadcast. In a statement, the Premier League said that the way it sold its audiovisual rights was compatible with UK and EU competition law. Sky and BT share the rights to televise Premier League football games. The price for the latest rights deal covering 2013 to 2016 rose by 70%, 70 to $3 billion when it was announced in 2012. The Premier League will soon be starting the bidding process for the next tranche of rights from 2016 onwards. Virgin claims that the current arrangements for the collective selling of live UK television rights by the Premier League for matches played by its member clubs is in breach of competition law. In particular, it has raised concerns about the number of Premier League matches for which live broadcasting rights are made available. Ofcom said Virgin Media argues that the proportion of matches made available for live television broadcast under the current Premier League rights deals at 41% is lower than some other leading European leagues where more matches are available for live television broadcast. Virgin argues that this contributes to higher prices for consumers of pay TV packages that include premium sport channels and for the pay TV of retailers of premium sports channels. Tom Mockridge, Virgin Media's chief executive, called Ofcom's investigation welcome news. The fact remains that fans in the UK pay the highest prices in Europe to watch the least amount of football on TV. Now is the right time to look again at the way live rights are sold to make football even more accessible, he said. We look forward to working constructively with the Premier League, the wider industry and Ofcom to ensure a better deal for football fans. In a statement, the Premier League said, "We note that Ofcom has launched an inquiry. Ofcom has stated that it is at an early stage and it has not reached a view as to whether there is sufficient evidence of any infringement. The Premier League currently sells audiovisual rights in a way that is currently compatible with UK and EU competition law and will continue to do so." Now, Ofcom said the investigation will be carried out under the terms of the Competition Act. It added it was also mindful of the likely timing of the next auction of live UK audiovisual media rights and is open to discussion with the Premier League about its plans. Ofcom said it would also look at the issue of how many games are moved from their traditional 3 p.m. kickoffs on Saturdays because of TV scheduling needs. As part of this, it will approach the Football Supporters Federation and certain other supporters groups to understand their views. Malcolm Clark, chair of the Football Supporters Federation, said Premier League football might be a global phenomenon, but without fans in the stands, it wouldn't have the same appeal. People want to see the world's best players, but they also want to see stands packed to the rafters with fans. That vibrancy is a key part of the TV product. Ofcom also acknowledges the importance of Saturday 3 p.m. kickoffs to fans. All too often, TV needs come before match-going supporters as games are shunted around the calendar. Now, wanted to mention this in brief at least, because it's usually always the fans that get shafted, and the Virgin Media chief executive, Mr. Mockridge. I can understand what he's saying, and it's good that obviously the Premier League and Ofcom are going to look at the are going to discuss with the Football Supporters Federation and a couple of other fan groups, because at the Liverpool match versus Stoke, there actually was a protest about ticket prices. Now, for me, slight double-edged sword here. If the TV rights are spread out between more entities, the fans are the ones who always got the shaft. Because if you're paying 40 to 50 quid for Sky, and adding Sky, obviously having Sky Sports within that as well, then you're having to add, then to get the other games from BT Sport, you're having to add another 5 to 10 quid onto that. That's like 60, 65, 70 quid. If another entity jumps in, those prices are not moving, they're not coming down. If anything, you're probably going to have to add another 5 to 10 quid to watch the rest of the games. So when it's all said and done, you're probably going to be paying anything between 70 and about 90 quid to watch all the games. So it's one of them was, okay, so what's your other option? All right, that's per month, by the way. So what's your other option? All right, let me get out to more matches. But tickets, especially with the Premier League, are anything between 40 and 80 quid. Double-edged sword here. Now, the one thing that splitting the TV rights again could cause is, yeah, there might not be a lot of butts on seats, to coin a phrase from Tony Schiavone from that game. It's one of them ones. You just think of it of, oh, so more football on TV. That'll put a lot of butts in the seats. Ugh. One of them was to coin that line. But for me, it's I personally think, yeah, the TV rights, the way they're split, needs to be probed just to make sure it's fair. But at the same time, I mean, and I'm also glad that they're looking at it from the perspective of, all right, how many of these games are getting moved around the calendar? Because there's so many games that get moved from a 3 p.m. on a Saturday to a 4 p.m. on a Sunday, or a 5:30 p.m. on a Sunday, just so they can get more viewers. And it's like, all right, you can understand it from Sky or BT Sports perspective, but the fans get mucked around. Especially if fans have made plans to go to those games, then you have to revise your travel plans. And usually it comes up at somewhat short notice, so like a week or two before. So the price to switch tickets and stuff like that is expensive. And some people who work on that weekends can't go to those matches anymore because of the timings being switched. So it's one of them ones. I mean, I know that pain only too well from the past 7 months working, and I've basically missed quite a few of the Ibis Freeze games. But for me, the other part of the double-edged sword is that potentially more games getting shown live on TV could force the hand of certain clubs, because it could make them think, you know what? Ooh, we got to be a touch careful with this, because if we're charging 60 quid, people are going to end up just watching the games at home, paying subscription fees and watching the games at home. So I think that's part of the issue that clubs have got to be mindful of, and of course the Premier League has to be mindful of, because as they've said, if there's not the behinds in seats, then it takes away from the atmosphere. But you can't keep driving up these prices and expecting people to pay it. But with the subscription fees being so high, people may just drift away totally because they just can't afford it. So it's an interesting one. But I said if more football is shown on TV, then it may encourage more teams to lower their prices a bit, just to compete with the TV stations. But you never know. I mean, do any of the Skypers want to jump in on this issue, by the way? Because it's one of them ones. It is kind of a it is somewhat of a thorny issue. It is definitely somewhat of a thorny issue. Yeah, basically the Premier League TV rights to be probed by Ofcom and basically opening an investigation into how the Premier League sells the TV media rights. Jaymie Bailey, you want to have that?
Yeah, welcome to the Championship, where things are so much easier and a lot more better. So, yeah, that's my gripe about it.
All right, explain that. You got to explain that for those listening.
Well, it's either the Championship, League One or League Two, and it seems like the Premiership is going in a different direction when it comes to money. Everybody wants to get to the Premiership, blah, blah, blah. It looks like, as far as I've heard from a lot of people, including when I was at QPR, it would have been easier for most clubs to stay in the Championship. And this just pretty much proves the point. So, if it's going in that direction, well, there you go. That's how I see it.
If it's going in that direction, silence.
It's true. Well, I can't really say too much about it. As far as I'm concerned, we're in the right position. Fulham are in the right position, and Arsenal are just going to be doing the same thing over and over again. So, as far as I see it, if we're going to be priced out of getting tickets for matches, we might as well stay in the Championship. Be a lot more easier just to watch, and a lot more stadiums full up as well.
See, this is the interest. That's actually quite an interesting thing you bring up. Actually, it might be easier staying in the Championship just purely on the basis of your ground's more full because the tickets are cheaper. I mean, it's a concern. It's a concerning one that actually might be the mindset of a lot of clubs. It's so expensive to go up the Premiership, and even like we mentioned a couple of weeks ago in terms of Sean Dyche's comments with the financial chasm between the Championship and the Premier League. It's just widening and widening and widening. And if you haven't got that financial base, if you haven't got not even just financial stability, but if you haven't got financial power, then you're setting yourself up for quite an expensive fall.
Well, that's the problem with Premiership football. They've forgotten that they still do have a country just to actually help out, and half of their community-based things are not benefiting the clubs themselves. They're benefiting them. They're benefiting just because they've got their name on the brand. So as far as I'm seeing it, whether you go up to the Premiership or not, the likelihood is that everybody has pretty much told me if you go further down in the Championship and everything like that, you're likely to see better football. It's like going to Germany. Everybody wants to see Borussia Dortmund, Bayern Munich, Wolfsburg, all the top clubs. And you know why? Because they don't really ask FIFA for big payouts. Because Germany, on a whole, doesn't have any debts. It's the same thing and it goes back to that whole talk about politics. So as far as I'm seeing it, it's always going to come down to when you've got power, you're going to do stupid things with it, and that's exactly what they're doing. So if they're going to be doing this whole TV rights thing that they can't bring down a bit of money on certain things, especially the TV deals. When it comes to Sky Sports, now everybody knows why British BT Sport has come into play, and a lot more other things as well. So,
what's the case of? I mean, Virgin Media are like, right, we want. What's it? They're arguing that the proportion of matches made available is lower than some other leading European leagues, but for me, it partly sounds like Virgin Media are not necessarily looking at this and this is my major issue with it. Virgin Media are not necessarily looking at this for the good of football. They're looking at it just like, oh wait, we want in on that. We want a piece of the pie. We want some of that money. I don't think they're looking at it for the good of football, which is why Ofcom, it's crucial that they work with the Premier League so that at least the Premier League can at least try and consider. You'd hope that they'd consider, right, let's sort out this TV rights thing for the good of the game. Because I said, I don't think Virgin Media are coming from any sort of benevolent or altruistic kind of viewpoint on this. I think they are very much looking at it as, right, we want a piece of the pie. We want some of this TV money. How do we get it? Complain to Ofcom that not enough matches are being shown.
If you look at it, 3 billion was given to the Premiership.
Yeah.
So how was it that they can't share it out amongst the clubs, just to make sure that everything goes smoothly within the sport?
No, but the fact is, it is shared amongst the clubs, but it's only the Premier League clubs.
That's what I mean.
That's a problem that we've discussed. That's a problem that we've discussed before. I mean, we discussed that on a previous show when we first got news of the $3 billion deal being signed. But with this, in terms of the latest rights deal, as said, it seems like Virgin Media just want a piece of the pie. So they're not doing it for the good of football, and that is the major problem.
Well, I'll come up with something that Notorious B.I.G. said in one of his titled songs.
Oh, I know where you're going.
More money, more problems.
Yeah, definitely. And in football, more power, more corruption. It's one of them ones. See the powers that be, see the corruption. See the report, see the corruption. I still need to read that report, actually. But you know what? We have a sign that we need to move on segments. Maybe it's time for us to move in to some messages and well wishes from certain friends and well wishers of the show. Here's all that was where we do have to pause that track, and don't worry, you're not going to hear any more of my singing yet. But we are going to move into just a few quick messages from some friends of the show and a bit more. So we're going to just take a quick break and we will be back shortly. See you guys in a minute. The football talk show that holds back nothing on opinions.
Straight shooting LJA.
Hi, I'm John Sitton.
Grassroots coach Manisha Taylor.
Hello, I'm Rob Perez.
The G-Man.
Samira Sawney, Motivate Sports and Fitness.
Christian Carambeu.
Matt Hodgson, Director of the 4-year plan.
We the people, for the people. Jazzy Fizzle.
Your Monday night footballing fix.
And make sure you join the revolution.
The pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk. Each and every Monday night of your lives.
At youtube.com/pitch talk.
For podcast links and information, check out our official website, www.pitch-talk.com. Your Monday night footballing fix, Pitch Talk, is brought to you by and in association with.
Facilities are provided for your Monday night footballing fix by In Situ. Create, engage and inspire by visiting insitu.co.
Simply Exclusive Entertainment. If you need a party or rave filmed, go to sxemedia.com for more information.
Apparently Rich. Simple yet effective web solutions to help get your company off the ground. Visit apparentlyrich.com for more information. And LJA Productions, the new blood in digital video. If you need a video filmed and or edited, check out ljaproductions.co.uk. LJA Productions, the new blood in digital video, offering video production services such as video editing, video encoding for the web including YouTube and Vimeo, audio recording, filming of interviews, promos, live events, and much more. Get in touch at www.ljaproductions.co.uk or twitter.com/LJA Productions and let the new blood in digital video promote you. Pitch Talk is brought to you by and in association with
the one-stop shop for all your coaching needs, Motivate Sports and Fitness. Check out motivatesportsandfitness.com for more information.
the new football culture magazine Thin White Line. Check out thinwhitelinemagazine.com for more information.
Storm FM with new hot releases played daily. Feel the boom at stormfm.net.
Two girls with their bunny Scotty trying to cover as much women's football as they can. Girls on the Ball. Check out girlsontheball.com for more information.
Hello, I'm Rob Perez.
Grassroots coach Manisha Taylor.
Christian Carambeu.
Matt Hodgson, director of a 4-year plan.
Dave McLaughlin.
I'm Rob Lusher.
Andy Copeland from the Glennet Southern Amateur League.
Philip Wick, I'm CEO of 14.
Former chairman of Ibis FC.
Chairman of Alexandra Park FC.
And you're listening. And you're listening
to Pitch Talk.
The only place to get your Monday night footballing fix.
Because the pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk. Make sure you join the revolution, the football revolution.
Grassroots segment. Oh yes. Oh yeah. A grassroots segment right now. It's Pitch Talk Live. Grassroots segment. Oh yes, featuring Ibis FC and much more in terms of the grassroots segment. Fantastic. Big shout out to the Southern Amateur League at 14 SAL. That's the word 14 SAL. www.southernamateurleague.co.uk. Also, big shout out to the Amateur Football Alliance at Amateur FA on Twitter and www.amateur-fa.com. Of course, as per usual, Ibis FC are the team we mainly feature on in the grassroots segment. The results from the 29th of November 2014. The Ibis 1-0, Old Westminster Citizens 1, South Bank Quarko Reserves 2, the Ibis Reserves 5. Luca got 2, Phil Jordan got 1, Alex Constantino scored, and Steve Mont scored as well. It's one of them ones. The Ibis 2s, the reserves, actually went top of the table with that result. So congratulations to Ollie Wooding and the guys in the 2s. I'm surprised Pat Baptista didn't score this week, actually. The Ibis 3s lost 1-0 against Winchmore Hill 4th. It's quite an interesting little point with that match, actually, which I got playing. But Saturday, 6th of December, 2014, the Ibis Christmas Do is coming up then as well. AFC Old Smiths v the Ibis Ones. They host the Ibis Ones. The Ibis Reserves are hosting the Q Association Reserves. And also, where are we rolling to next? We've also got the Ibis Freeze, who are away at Civil Service. It's away in all but name, because, yeah, Civil Service, a local derby there. It will be fiercely contested. But ibisfootballclub@gmail.com is where you need to email if you want more information. Facebook.com/IBIS, ibis.fc. Twitter.com/ibis_football, at ibis_football on Twitter. And ibisfc.co.uk is the official website. Training is every Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. until 9 p.m. and match days are Saturdays. Training is Wednesday at the Battersea Park all-weather AstroTurf pitches by just off Prince of Wales Drive. Now, the Ibis Freeze going down in defeat 1-0. We actually had a keeper this week as well. And it was one of them ones where The one problem we have, the major problem that we have in the Freeze, is that at centre mid, we're not winning anything in the air. Those first balls, those second balls, which makes it difficult because then the pressure is instantly back on the back line. And personally, I would say I had probably my worst performance in an Ibis shirt in 2 years. Because of that 7 months of ring rust. And that's what happens. You get a lot of ring rust. I think I put in about 5-6 sliding tackles and pretty much only got one right. Kept mistiming them. Andrew Williams made a point of that. It's like, yep, it was either you going down too early or you're going too late. And it's like, well, that ring rust will happen when you play when you play your 4th game in 7 months and 3 of those matches have been played in goal. Legit ring rust. And also I've been trying to shake off a sore hamstring from the week before because of being in goal. So I'm not a fan of being a goalkeeper, as you can tell. But for me, one of the major things is that we do try and of course keep the ball on the floor. But a lot of the times you kind of end up just resorting to hoofing it over the top. And it just doesn't work all the time. But it's that centre midfield position that is a problem for us in the Freeze this season. 2 centre backs, Dan and Nick, it works. It really does work. Those two work perfectly fine. But in terms of me at fullback, my fitness is just not there. It's just non-existent at the moment. As said, 7 months of not playing out on pitch will do that to you. Plus the ring rust equals not good performance. But I mean, it's one of them. But it's consistency in personnel. I mean, Toby Moore-Morris did well at centre mid in terms of playing that destroyer role, and there was that hard work from him as well. But of course, Hancho was trying in terms of centre mid position as well. But that cohesion is not there because there's just not a settled 7-8 players. So it's always going to make things ever so slightly difficult at the very least. But it's one of them ones. Winchmore Hill, actually, there was no kit clash between the Ibis kit and the Winchmore Hill Force kit. There's no kit clash there. But there had to be a pre-match kit swap with BB Eagles, who were playing on the pitch next to us, because there was a kit clash with them. So they were like, oh my god, we need to swap shirts. Can we swap with you guys? And Winchmore Hill were gracious enough to actually swap. I think they were in black and yellow, so they swapped. I think it was the purple of BB Eagles. So they were gracious enough to actually swap with them. So it was good. The away teams swapping shirts. It's quite an interesting one. It was that we were like, you know what, this is what grassroots football is all about. If you've got a kit clash, most teams don't have an alternative kit. I think I've only ever seen HSBC with an alternative kit, from their red and black to yellow and blue, I think it is. So it was one of them ones. What do we do when there's a kit clash? Bugger it. Swap with the guys on the next pitch. It was fantastic. And both matches started at pretty much the same time anyway, so it was interesting stuff. But the fact of the matter is, Andrew Williams was actually really unlucky not to score in the first half, because he pinged an absolute blinder of a shot. But similar to what happened to me a few weeks ago when I was in goal in a home match, it hit the underside of the crossbar and bounced back out. So it was kind of like, ooh. No one was sure whether it went in, and the referee Trevor Weaver, he was like, well, he didn't give it because obviously you can't be sure. But one thing I started doing, I started chanting GLT, GLT, GLT. I literally started chanting that as soon as it hit. I couldn't see whether it went in or not. I mean, from the distance that I was, so it was one of them ones. But not BLT, GLT, Goal Line Tech. I started chanting that just purely for crap and giggles. But the goal that we actually conceded, the captain of the Freeze, the manager of the Freeze, Carl Bolton, he had basically me sweeping just in front of the front post, so to clear anything. But the first corner that got played in, at the last possible second, it was like, no, we need you to pick up, we need you to mark. And then the ball comes through the front post, ends up getting bundled in, and it's like, every other corner, every other corner, every other corner, it was like, when it was coming to the front post, it was easy for me to clear it. But it was just that first corner where stuff got switched at the last possible second. That's what bugging it over. It was just mad. It was mad. But it's one of them was, I mean, there was one chance where I think it was Anthony, who there was like a little bit of a scramble. It was a little bit of a scramble, and it's like, yes, oh, it hasn't gone in, and it was just heartbreaking. I also, I mean, it's one of them ones where it was just absolutely mad. There was actually in the second half, before I got taken off, there was one run that I did a bit of link up play with one of the midfielders, and also with Andrew as well, little bit, and then I ended up basically running downwards into a divot, and it tripped me up, and I was like, ref, hey, that's surely that's a yellow card. That turf deserves a booking for that, because I said I was running normally. Legs just went like a baby giraffe, to coin that phrase from the Football Factory. It's just like, legs went like a baby giraffe just because of a huge crater in the pitch. And Duke's Meadow is known for that. But it was annoying. It was like, But, yeah, it left me a little red-faced, if I could have went red-faced, because I'm dark enough not to be able to go red-faced. But yeah, I saw Dog Turd at one point in one place on the pitch. But yeah, anyway, it was a mad one. But the fact of the matter is, there's a lot of work that we need to do in the Freeze, and we need to hold on to our players as well, because usually the better players get snapped up by the twos and then by the ones, and it's always been the way. So the better players go further up. But it's one of them. There's always next week to bounce back. It was just funny that I think it was both of the goals came from corners. One goal, the goal that sent us down to defeat, came from a corner, and also I think it was one of them ones where I think the ones as well actually had, I think they hit the bar as well in their game. So it was one of them ones. It's kind of swings and roundabouts, but it's one of them. But as I said, 6th of December, I think there's games actually scheduled up to December 20th for us as well, so that's going to be very interesting in terms of availability, and also if the weather holds up as well. But that's the Ibis, the mighty Ibis, ibisfootballclub@gmail.com, facebook.com/ibis.fc, and at ibis_football on Twitter, and ibisfc.co.uk. If you know anyone who wants to play, that's the info. Training is 7:30 p.m. until 9 p.m. every Wednesday at Battersea Park or Weather AstroTurf, and match days are on Saturdays. We're on the 2:15 kickoffs at the moment because it gets darker earlier. So we got on to a little more grassroots news. We're going to come back to that in a sec. Yeah, Tom Wood actually wanted us to mention about his side, Porter's Soccerbility. Their manager's name is Nigel Stewart. Their contact number is 07891 839 They train at Cedar Hall School, Hart Road, Fundersley, Essex, SS7 3UQ. Facebook.com/Porter's Soccerbility. Training is every Saturday from 10 till 12, and tournaments are usually once a month. Hopefully we get some of the Porter's Soccerbility peeps listening to the show. Hopefully your Monday night football and fix is being promoted by all and sundry. It's one of them ones. That said, join the footballing revolution. We are working so hard to create, and of course, the footballing revolution can't be spread without others spreading it as well. All good. Tom Wood, you wanted to jump in about Porter Soccerbility? What's going on with Porter Soccerbility at the moment?
Well, this weekend we've got training, and the following weekend we've got another football tournament, so I'm looking forward to that one. Hopefully I can get another goal again, as I've scored in the last 2 tournaments. But other than that, I was talking to our manager the other couple of weeks ago, and he's going to try and arrange a session for us to have a coaching session with Southend's ex-manager Steve Tilson, or maybe one of Southend's ex-players, as he knows them, one of Southend's ex-players, Adam Barrett, who might be coming to coach us. So hopefully we'll get that arranged.
Yeah, hopefully so. Hopefully.
And then I'll try and mention pitch talk to Adam Barrett, who used to play for Southend, and Southend's ex-manager.
Yeah, there we go.
That's all good.
Yeah, I like that. We like that. Everyone likes that. It's one of them ones. You know what? It is one that was weird. There is also an interesting grassroots story that we didn't get the time to mention last week, but it revolves around the Evening Standard and an initiative they have called London United. Now, with this, so basically, this from 24th of November 2014, Top London Clubs back Standards campaign to change youngsters' lives through football. All 14 professional football clubs in London, from the Premier League to League 2, have lined up to back the Evening Standards campaign to change lives through soccer. In a coup for the groundbreaking scheme, the community trusts of each club, including Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham and West Ham, have agreed to support, mentor and develop 20 coaches trained up to FA Level 2 through the Standards London United campaign. The consortium also includes the community trusts of QPR and Crystal Palace in the Premier League, Watford, Fulham, Charlton, Brentford, Millwall in the Championship, and Leyton Orient in League 1, and also AFC Wimbledon and Dagenham and Redbridge in League 2. Tottenham boss Mauricio Pochettino spoke for all the clubs when he said that the opportunities provided could be life-changing. He added, being part of the London United campaign, we will be able to give more young people the opportunity to become football coaches and make a difference in their lives. Giving young people, often from tough backgrounds, the chance to become coaches and give something positive back to other youngsters in their communities is fantastic. Our club places a huge emphasis on this, with our players regularly visiting Tottenham Hotspur Foundation projects, acting as role models and inspiring the participants. Fulham boss Kit Simon said that his club too were delighted to be taking part in this initiative along with other London clubs. At Fulham, he added, we are committed to carrying out positive, meaningful work in our local community. I wish the candidates from London United who are chosen to join us the best of luck. The consortium offer comes on top of the news that QPR and Watford Community Trust will each employ 2 Level 2 coaches trained through London United. It means that 4 of the coaches will be offered paid employment. The other 16 will receive mentoring and career development through the Community Trust Social Inclusion programs. So good stuff. That is fantastic stuff. You know what? It is one of them ones. It is one of them ones. It is good to see those kinds of grassroots initiatives actually being recognised and actually being supported by the Premier League clubs, because we're always advocates of giving back to the communities, and we've always said community outreach is where it is at. That is what it is all about. That is what it's all about. You need to help. Tom, would you want to give a shout out before we have to move on?
Yeah, let's do a quick shout out to Cillian Petrus, who played his first football game for that amateur side. Do you remember it?
Yeah, definitely.
So a big shout out to him, who's still recovering from leukemia, obviously.
Nah, definitely big time shout outs to him. That is good stuff. You know what? It is time for us to pause the particular track that we are on, because it is time to switch segments. We're hitting towards the home stretch of the show, but let's go into This is Monday night. This is Monday night. We are live on Pitch Talk, and it's what's up with that. Yes. These are a couple of stories that we didn't get the chance to go into last week due to time. Stop doing juju on me. I'm sorry, I can't say this with a straight face. Stop doing juju on me. Emmanuel Adebayor accuses people of practicing witchcraft on him after denying claims he kicked his mum out of his house in Africa. From the 21st of November 2014, Tottenham striker Emmanuel Adebayor has rubbish claims he kicked his mum out of his house in Africa because he thought she was a witch and has told people to stop doing juju on him. Oh my God. Adebayor's sister Maggie stated on Ghanaian radio station Peace FM that the Premier League striker is refusing to give his mother money and has not seen her in over a year. His mother is reportedly having to sell polythene bags, padlocks and other things in order to provide for her family. However, the 101,000 a week star has refuted suggestions he has decided to abandon his own mother. Adebayor, speaking to Peace FM, said, "I never sacked my mum from the house. She decided to leave the house. How am I going to be in touch with my mum if my mum is the one telling everyone that my work will not go forward? So I will just be on my side and do my thing. They should stop talking. They should stop doing juju on me. They should leave me alone." Oh God. I bought a $1.2 million house in East Legon for the one talking and calling herself my sister. Can you imagine that sister went to rent the house without my knowledge? It remains unclear who he was directing his request for people to stop doing juju on him at. Adebayor will be hoping to focus his attention back on football with Tottenham Hotspur. Now, what exactly is juju? Sorry, it's hard to say that with a straight face. Juju is a word used in West Africa to refer to spells used as part of witchcraft. Juju is said to have started during the days of slavery, but it's still part of African tradition. There are a lot of jokes with juju with a couple of friends of mine that I know. And I can't do this with a straight face. Adebayor says, "Stop doing juju on me." It's just... That's a phrase I never thought I'd hear from a footballer, African or not. I never ever thought that I would ever hear that. Oh God. Yeah, you can just imagine someone with a voodoo doll of Adebayor just sticking pins in it and then be like, the hell is that? Just as he's watching him on TV, just as he's about to score, stick the pin in him. What the hell? I don't know what the hell is going on. It's one of them ones. Adebayor asking people to stop doing juju on him. It must be a case of,
I don't know what the hell's going on here. Wait a minute. But I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But I don't like it.
It must be a case of that for Adebayor at the moment. But if any of the Skypers want to jump in, let us know. Let us know. But our next what's up with that moment revolves around Arsenal's Alexis Sanchez. And the reason for that is, this is one that we got to throw them T's up for because Big T will have a field day on this. From Monday 24th of November 2014, Alexis Sanchez could be facing early burnout at Arsenal as a result of too much football, nothing wrong with that, and too much sex, according to reports in his native Chile. Oh God. La Cuarta claims the lung-busting forward is suffering fatigue from an endless run of fixtures for both the Gunners and the national team, which is made worse by the love demands, in inverted commas, of gorgeous girlfriend Leia Grassi when he returns home. Which is quite the claim, I think you'll agree. That's a good one, actually, by Mike Harniman, Dirty Sanchez. That's pretty good. Either way, the endless sex and football don't seem to be affecting Sanchez's form, as the 25-year-old was once again one of the Gunners' most dangerous performers in the weekend's at that time, the weekend's 2-1 defeat against United. But he was also inspired in the Champions League game as well. Words fail me at this. From stop doing juju on me to stop banging me, essentially, is what is on my mind at the moment. with these two stories. And Mike Harniman, being that you're an Arsenal supporter, would you like to jump in on the Alexis Sanchez story? Oh my word. Mike, are you there with us? All right, cool. We'll have to come back to it, but
yeah, I'm there.
Go on, what did you reckon about Dirty Sanchez?
Dirty Sanchez, yeah, you're gonna live off that now. To be honest, I think if it's working on the pitch and he's performing well, in sort of performing in both senses of the word, then just let him get on with it.
If it's working on the pitch, well, it seems to be working in the bedroom as well, because I don't think his girlfriend's complaining. But
like I said, if he's performing well, then just let him get on with it. In both senses of the word, performing.
Oh my God, just let it be, let it be. Oh, where is Big T this week? Oh my God, he loved that. Jaymie Bailey, did you want to jump in on this as well? There's Jamie.
I don't think there's much to really actually mention about Alexis doing his
his dalliances, his extracurricular activities.
I wouldn't even call it extracurricular activities. I think it's just basic training in the wrong area, if you know what I mean.
Oh God, you mean in the wrong area? Wait, hold on. He's doing well on the football pitch, and he's scoring on the pitch and in the bedroom too. I don't think I can make it any more plain.
This way, it's called individual training.
He's got the one-on-one training on the pitch, and he's got the one-on-one training off the pitch as well. Alexis Sanchez is doing the do, because that's how he does it.
I don't know if you played Football Manager yet, but or the two newest versions of 14 and 15, but they now have specific training. So I think that's where the judges come from as well.
Hey, that's specific sabotage with the juju, and with Sanchez with Sanchez scoring on and off the pitch. I guess that is somewhat targeted training. I'll leave it as that.
Well, he's targeting his groin muscles in a good way.
Oh God! Oh, you know what? You've actually just. Oh my God! The funny thing is, you've actually just reminded me of a Botchamania ending from a while ago. I can't remember which one it was.
Quite simple. Well, I know that you're trying to still think of that one, but if you kind of put it in this context, they say he nailed it.
Oh God, you had to, didn't you? Here we go. I've got that.
The top. This ain't Brock doesn't do. Watch the pressure on his hamstring, his shoulders, his groin.
That's the Botchamania ending I was thinking of. I got to do that again. It's one of them ones with Alexis Sanchez. It has to be a case of.
Up into the top. This ain't Brock. Brock doesn't do. Watch the pressure on his hamstring, his shoulders, his groin.
That's it. As soon as you said the groin muscles, that's what you made me think of. Is that Sanchez's groin? His groin.
You might remember this, and I think Mike will remember this song. But it's DJ Luck and MC Neat.
No, God! Oh God! Do you really like it? Is it wicked? Sanchez is loving it. He's loving it like that. Does Sanchez really like it? Is it wicked? Oh my God! You are a disgrace.
Well, it's a situation of lethal bizzle. Pow!
Oh, no. You can't be saying pow and then saying...
That's the pressure on his hamstring, his shoulders, his groin. His groin.
Oh, my word.
His
Liam, that actually reminds me of the I can't remember what year it come out of, but they had a song, a remix to the nursery rhyme, Head, Shoulders, Knees and Toes. That entire thing, literally right there, just reminds me of that. Completely.
No, we're not going down that road. I'm not sure where you're going with that. I've never heard a remix to that tune. That's not an invitation to that. You know what? We gotta move on segments. We gotta move on segments. It's one of them ones. The spirit's killing us. We gotta move on. It's one of them ones. No, but you know what? The fact of the matter is, yeah, it's I said all I can think of now is I can't help but that if someone's tuning in now, they're gonna think this is really weird. But all I can think of is
the pressure on his hamstring, his shoulders, his groin. His groin. His
I can't help but thinking that. But you know what? It's time for us to shift on. We're in the home straight of the show, and I think you know where we're going in terms of the final segment. Let's go into...
Stuff of the week.
Hey!
His groin. His groin. His groin.
His groin. His groin.
His groin. His groin. His groin.
Every Monday night, we missed out the news. But it's still Pitch Talk, and we are live. We're always having fun, including his groin. I can't do it. I can't. Because it's Monday night. And it's Pitch Talk. Oh my God. Big shout out to Russ Vernon and also to Wayne Schumann who have joined us for the final segment of the show. Let's go for some stuff of the week. All right. Where are we going for stuff of the week? Let's go goal of the week. That Worcester City FC Rabona deserves honourable mention, but I'm going to go Kevin Morales because that had me with some pretty blue language. That's all I can say when I saw that. It was that bomba. So that was Kevin Morales against Tottenham, goal of the week. Tom Wood, who you got for goal of the week?
Javier Alonso's free kick against Man City.
Not a bad shout there. Jaymie Bailey, goal of the week.
I've got about 5. Simon.
Narrow it to one.
I can't. All of them. I can't really choose.
All right, narrow it to 2.
One that I can think of is the name just kind of rings a bell when it comes to Alexis Sanchez about this whole. You get the idea.
Wait. You want to give Alexis Sanchez goal of the week because of
No. His name, the person's name is sort of connected to the whole situation. His name's Simon Wally.
Oh my God, what a name! What a name! Oh my God!
But he scored for Luton, and you need to see the goal again. Hence the reason why I didn't want to go in that direction about it.
Oh God, you know what? Actually, I've got one for player of the week. I've got one. I've got one for player of the week. You've just reminded me of something, actually. That it was quite fun for me and Joe Elvin on Saturday. We were having a laugh at it. All right, cool. Let's go for Wayne Schumann, goal of the week.
Yeah, I'm going to say Morales goal as well. I thought that was a peach.
Nah, good shout. Ross Vernon, goal of the week.
How's it going, Liam? You alright, mate?
All good. What's your goal of the week, dude?
Is Morales like you as well, Liam? I saw it on Match of the Day 2 last night and thought it was a fantastic goal. Even though I was in hospital last night and I'm back home now after a bad chest infection went in on Thursday. I'm back home today.
Nah, good shout. Good to hear you, and good to know you're back home and on the mend. Mike Harniman, who are you going for? Goal of the week.
Unfortunately, I've got to give it to RVP for his goal against Hull.
Great shout. Great shout. Let's go for team of the week. Team of the week, Manchester City. That win against Bayern Munich, coming back from behind after being dominated for basically 7 minutes, even when Bayern Munich had 10 men, still being dominated. Yeah, I'm going to go Man City, and they were impressive against Southampton. As the commentary said on Match of the Day, the pretenders got put in their place. Ross Vernon, team of the week.
For me, Liam, I saw it on the highlights. My dad went to it. I should have been there. Leeds United, brilliant performance against Derby. What I heard and what my dad told me. And Derby, top of the league, you're having a laugh.
I hear that. Tom Wood, who are you going for, team of the week?
Southend.
Good shout. Wayne Schumann, team of the week.
Arsenal.
Mike Harniman, team of the week.
MK Dons for me.
Nah, for that 6-0. Okay, nah, I hear that. Jaymie Bailey, team of the week.
Fulham.
No, I hear that. Let's go for player of the week. My player of the week, who Jamie reminded me of with the Simon Wally thing a second ago. Actually, hold on. I'm going to let everyone else give theirs. Ross Vernon, who's your player of the week?
Liam, for his performance against Bayern Munich and his 3 goals, Sergio Aguero.
Nah, I hear that. Tom Wood, player of the week.
Miles Jedinak and Adam Federici for paying their respects at the start of the games on Saturday.
I hear that. Wayne Schumann, player of the week.
Yeah, I'm going to have to say Jedinak as well. Scoring that goal against Liverpool the other week and getting another one.
Someone thinks he's funny. Okay. Mike Harniman, player of the week.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Alexis Sanchez for, well, tearing everyone apart, literally, and also I'm gonna have to give it to Mitchell Cole as well for the fact it's been 2 years.
Nah, great shout. I was gonna say with the Alexis Sanchez one. So you're giving him the player of the week for
Pressure on his hamstring, his shoulders, his groin. He's
giving him it for that. I love it. Jaymie Bailey, did you give your player of the week? Who you going for?
No, I'm going to go with a player that most people won't know, from Fulham again, Lassie Vegan. Well, his last name's Christensen, but it's Lassie Vegan.
I thought you said something else for a second. I'm not going there. Don't go there. Talk to the hand of his. Them Simpsons ones. Speaking of the Simpsons, that was my segue into my player of the week, who is
Max Power. He's the man whose name you'd love to touch, but you mustn't touch. His name sounds good in your ear, but when you say it, you mustn't fear, 'cause his name can be said by anyone.
Max Power.
That's my player of the week, Max Power. I had to build up to that. Guy, I had to build up to that. I said, me and Joe Elvin on Saturday, we just, we were in stitches. It was like, oh God, Max Power scored. That is fantastic. That's my player of the week, Max Power. No one else comes close. No one else does it better. Was it no one does it better? Oh, there we go. Flop of the week. Flop of the week. I'm going to let everyone take theirs first. Ross Vernon, flop of the week.
Diego Costa for his kick out against Sunderland, sort of match of the day.
Wayne Schumann, flop of the week.
Stevenage manager Graham Wesley for having a go at the fans.
All right. Tom Wood, flop of the week.
Massimo Cellino and Brett Asselbalonga for getting himself sent off for a deliberate handball on the goal line. What are you doing back at what you meant to be out for the field, not at defending?
Mike Harniman, who you going for, flop of the week?
Yeah, we've alluded to it earlier on with the Newcastle game. It's Sissoko for me.
Yeah, no, that is a fair shout. Jaymie Bailey, flop of the week, who are you going for?
This sounds a bit cruel to Liverpool, but I really think it's Simon Mignolet. I don't think he's actually doing himself any justice.
Yeah, okay. All right.
For me, he should be. I think Brendan Rodgers should actually do what Man City did last year and give him a break.
No, I hear that. That's fair. My flop of the week to round out the show is there's a combination of two. On the pitch, it has to be those pitch invaders that invaded during the Tottenham v Partizan Belgrade match. That's on the pitch, but off the pitch, it has to be Massimo Cellino. I can't look any further than Massimo Cellino. The guy is a two-time fraudster, and now he's potentially going to have Leeds taken away from him. It has to be, because Cellino deserves the rating of
-5 stars. -5 stars.
Because even when he tried to take over in April, when he first tried to take over, it was a case of,
I don't know what the hell's going on here. Wait a minute. But I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
It's one of them. I can't look any further than Massimo Cellino this week. It's one of them. I can't look any further than him. So it's one of them. But also the Leeds United. Also, I do have to say a big time
-5 stars
for the Leeds United fans who actually have had the nerve to call the Football League corrupt, because that's hilarious. Calling the Football League corrupt when your owner is a two-time convicted fraudster. That's just funny. That's just funny. The very definition of corrupt is your chairman. All you got to do is point the guns inwards on that one. So it's one of them ones. But it is one of them ones where it's not going to be plastic dreams. It's going to be sweet dreams very, very soon, because it will be over. And some people will never step onto another pitch again. Or it's one of them was, hopefully Massimo Cellino will never, he's done. He will never step into another club again. But the fact of the matter is, I love that. What Russ Vernon is saying is that one rule for 71 teams and one rule for Leeds. The Football League hate you. No, I think the Football League hate the fact that your owner's a two-time convicted fraudster and is a tax evader as well. It's all that was. Those are reasons to hate. That's all I'm saying. But the fact of the matter is, it is time. We have reached the end of the show. As said, we apologize for the video issues that we've been having. We have been live on mixler.com/pitch-talk. The whole show has been live, audio only this week. So, you know what? With this in mind,
watch the pressure on his hamstring, his shoulders, his groin.
With that in mind, to round out the show on a rather comedic note, it's time to say...
Hi, I'm John Sitton and I'm here with Gavin, Liam and Gerald on Pitch Talk.
The football talk show that pulls no punches and holds back nothing on opinions.
Hello, I'm Rob Perez. My name is Christian Carambeu.
I'm grassroots coach Manisha Taylor.
Hi, I'm Matt Hodgson, director of the 4-year plan, and you're listening to Pitch Talk, the only place to get your Monday night footballing fix.
Make sure you join the revolution.
The pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk.
I'm Andy Copeland from the Glennet Southern Amateur League.
Philip Wick, I'm CEO of 14.
I'm Rob Lusher, former chairman of Ibis FC.
I'm Samir Sawney, co-founder and co-director of Motivate Sports and Fitness.
And you're listening
to Pitch Talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, straight shooting LJ, the G-Man, and Jersey Fizzle proudly bring to you the football talk show that pulls no punches and holds back nothing on opinions, because the pitch is where we eat, the pitch is where we sleep, and the pitch is where we talk. You know what? It is one of them ones. It's been a lot of fun this week. Even though I've been on my own today, we had the Skypers, we had Tom Wood, we had Mike Harniman, we had Jaymie Bailey joining us for most of the show, and we had Russ Vernon and Wayne Schumann joining us quite late on. But you know what? Also, big shout outs to Ian Kerr of Thin White Line Magazine, at Tweet White Line on Twitter, and www.thinwhitelinemagazine.com. The editor, Ian Kerr, provided us with, and provides us weekly with, the Australian A-League Roundup. It's one of them ones. Heard the Roundup? Go to the shop. They've got 25% off on this Cyber Monday, so those listening live, jump over to their shop. You know what? It is one of them ones where... Of course, big shouts to Rebel Nature Studios up in North London. Big shouts to the Section 357 show. Big shout outs to Girls on the Ball. Big shout outs to Motivate Sports and Fitness, and also the Section 357 show as well. www.pitch-talk.com is the official website. If you want to know anything about Pitch Talk, jump over to the official website. Also, you can listen. Usually we have the first hour of our shows live on mixler.com/Pitch Talk. But for this week, we had the whole shebang audio only on mixler.com/pitch-talk this week. So it's one of them. We also have the podcast on iTunes, Mixcloud, Podomatic, and Spreaker as well. Also, in terms of where you can find Pitch Talk live and in your face, and also where you can find our videos as well, youtube.com/Pitch Talk is where you can find our videos, including Pitch Talk meets Sahel Raymond. The first trailer has been released, a Motivate SF invitation, and Football Manager as well. Those two. That trailer is up there now, youtube.com/Pitch Talk. You can also find our cup final videos, our push points, rants of the week as well, and much more. Also, facebook.com/Pitch Talk. Become fan, become friend, become a member of the group, join the footballing revolution we are working so hard to create. myspace.com/Pitch Talk. pitchtalk.blogspot.com or .co.uk will get you to the blogs by yours truly, straight shooting LJ, the G-Man, and Jersey Fizzle as well. Of course, 07535804466 is the mobile number. Call us, text us, let us know your views at Pitch Talk on Twitter, twitter.com/Pitch Talk. Also, Pitch Talk 1 on Skype. Join the Skypers as well. Big shout outs to bloggers, to some of our bloggers. Big T, aka Thomas Hewitt, Russ Vernon, Mike Harniman, who have blogged for us. Also, Brian Christopher Jeeves, who's blogged for us as well. And also Dave Mear, aka at Mearcy as well. We have to vacate. It is time for us to vacate the place with a haste. But you know what? It is time for us to say thank you very much to all the Skypers. Big shout outs to everyone who's listened to us live, and also those listening to us via the podcast as well. Thank you very much, everybody. Good night. And also, actually, before I say a big good night, rest in peace to Philip Hughes and also Mitchell Cole after the 2-year anniversary of his death as well. People, on that somber tone, thank you very much. Good night.